In this video, we're going to learn how to build a complete full-stack LMS app with an AI assistant that allows you to perform Q&A and summarization of uploaded documents. But also, our assistant can respond to FAQ questions. Throughout this video, we're going to talk about LLM and their limitations. We're going to learn what is LangChain and LangGraph. We're going to talk about different RAG techniques, vector store, and embedding model. Once a user lands on the home page, you can chat directly with our AI assistant. If you want to buy a course, you can create an account, then pick your course and submit its card details to purchase a course. After that, you can browse through all course chapters. Our app has the administration page where we have the dashboard to visualize the financial situation, category page for course categorization. We have the course page where we can create a course, edit it, or even see all details about it, and payment page where we can see all completed payments. Now, to build this app, we're going to use Nuxt, which is a powerful server-side rendering framework with Tailwind CSS for styling our UI, Clerk for user authentication and user management, LangChain and LangGraph to build our AI assistant, Prisma Neon for database operation, Neon, which is a fast Postgres database, with Pinecone as a vector database, and Cohere re-rank to re-rank our documents. Now, before we get started, I want to mention that this course is divided in 5 chapters. For the first chapter, we're going to set up our project using Nuxt4. And then at the end, we're going to migrate it to Nuxt4 because when I was working on that course, Nuxt4 came out. And then we have the second chapter, the second part, which is the continuation of the first one. And inside the third chapter, we finish building our Nuxt app. And we have also the fourth chapter where we start learning how to build our AI assistants. And the final chapter where we are going to integrate our AI assistant into our Nuxt app. And also we are going to migrate our Nuxt3 to Nuxt4 projects. If you want more content like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get started. Alright guys, now I'm going to be starting by creating a brand new Nuxt project. You're going to head up to Nuxt.com, and once in here guys, you're going to copy this command to get the latest Nuxt projects. You're going to copy npm create Nuxt latest and pass it into your command prompt. And then you're going to type here code dot to get into your text editor. You can see actually I've already installed a brand new Nuxt project. And one thing you're going to notice, you're going to see the .nuxt folder here, which is a generated folder when we type npm run dev commands. And if you delete it and you type again this command here, we're going to generate it again. We have the public folder where we're going to put in all our asset files, and the server folder we're going to put in all our endpoints. Now we're going to install Tailwind CSS for starting our UI. We are going to go to Tailwind, tap Tailwind CSS.nuxt.org, and in here you're going to copy this command npx nuxt module add Tailwind CSS. And we have and then you're going to pass it to the modules array, and we're going to copy this Tailwind CSS configurations. We're going to pass it here. And here you can see that actually just exposed the tailwind.config.ts file. And so we're going to create it at the root of our projects and pass it tailwind.config.ts. And we're going to copy here a boilerplate. I'm going to click get started and basic usage. And in here, we're going to copy here something. I'm not getting to the tailwind.config.ts. I'm going to copy that. And that's what we're passing into the nuxt.config.ts file. Okay, guys. And also we're going to install another module. I've already installed it. You can see inside my nuxt.config.ts, we have here Clerk. Clerk is an authentication solution and user management that we're going to use in order to handle authentication inside of our app. And we are going to tap here Clerk, tap Clerk, okay, and pass here Clerk like this, and then we're going to tap enter, okay. And you can see Clerk authentication and user management solution, okay. You're going to click here, and once in here guys, you're going to click docs, okay. On docs menu you can see we got it here. Click here. And here, you're going to choose Nuxt here. And here, you're going to click Quick Start. And inside of the Quick Start menu here, we are going to type this command in order to install Clerk. Type npm at clerk/Nuxt. Copy this command. And once done, you're going to add it into the modules array like this. Now we're going to type here another command to start our app and pass the npm run dev. Okay. you can see that actually we got an error here, guys. Publishable key is missing, and this error is caused by the Clerk module that we just added inside our app. To get rid of it, we are going to move here, and we're gonna click here dashboard. And if you haven't already created a Clerk account, create it, and they're gonna redirect you on the page. And once in here, guys, you're gonna click here create application, okay? And they're gonna move you to the interface, and on the interface we have the possibility to create a login form and register page. We are not going to do that, guys, but Clerk has already done the work for us, okay? And in here, we are going to pass here, first of all, the name of our app. You can see the pass here, sign into my application, and pass here, sign into LMS, okay? We got here, sign into LMS, okay? And we have here a bunch of authentication. We have here email, phone number. We can sign in with Google or Facebook. Yeah, you can see I just added Facebook. We have here Apple. And I'm gonna remove it because we are not going to use that. We're gonna use only Google. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom, we have here a bunch of authentication, guys. Yeah, we have Xerox, MetaMask, Coinbase wallet, and so on, guys. Okay. And here we're gonna use only email. And here I'm gonna require also the username. Okay, email or username. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna click create application. Okay. And once you click here, they're gonna move you on the page. And on the page, we have the possibility to see our public Clerk key and our Clerk secret key. Now I'm gonna copy that, and we are going to create an env file, and pass here this key. And we have here next, and here we're gonna pass here Nuxt like this, and I'm gonna copy that. We're gonna pass it here before the Nuxt Clerk secret key like this. And here we are going to get rid of this error because we're gonna run our save again. I'm typing npm run dev, okay? Okay, guys, and now you can see that actually just rendered the landing page that came with the brand new Nuxt project, which is the app.view file. And this is what we got here. And inside of the app.view components, as I said before, we got into two built-in Nuxt components. And now what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna create here layouts, and we are going to get rid of the app.view file. Okay, and so we're gonna create layer folder with an S here at the roots of a project. Inside of the layer folder, we're gonna pass in the admin layout. We're gonna pass here the off layout of view, and here I'm pass here the default. I'm pass here the default layout of view. Okay, and a layout is basically a main page of our app. Let me explain that here, and you can see this is the off layout, and inside of it, we're gonna pass here the header. We can have a header. A header is a component. We can have in a slot, and inside of the slots is where we're gonna put in other pages. And we are going to create also the pages folder in here. Let me pass here first the pages folder so that you can understand what I'm doing. And here we're gonna pass here this off. And inside of the off, we're gonna pass here the sign in the view file and pass the sign in, okay? And we're gonna pass here sign up, and pass the sign up the view. And here we are going to specify in sign in the view file that we're gonna use the off layout, okay? That's what I'm doing here. We're gonna pass in first of all inside of the off layout, we're gonna pass here this code. Okay, and we have here the slots, and then here we're gonna have here this sign up page here. Let me copy that and pass into the sign up page. Yeah, and I'm pass it here, and I'm pass the sign up, and we're gonna pass here sign in. Okay, sign in. Okay, and you can see in here we need to specify which layer we need to use. Okay. And here we're gonna use here a function. We're gonna name. We have here a Nuxt function. We'll pass it define page meta. Okay, and here we're gonna pass it the layout, and here we're gonna say we use the off layout in this page. And I'm gonna copy that. We're gonna pass it in here. Okay, And this is how it works, guys. A layout is basically a main page of our app. We have here the auth, admin, learner, and default layout. I'm gonna explain the default layout, what it does. Okay, and here inside of the auth layout, we can have a header and a slot. Okay, and a slot is a built-in component of Nuxt, and it allows us to load our pages. If in the sign up page we specify that we use the auth layout, we're gonna load it automatically. You can see we need to specify that we use a particular layout into a page. Like in the sign up page, we specify that we use the auth layout. Okay, and here we can have here the admin folder. And instead of the admin folder, I can pass the dashboard, and yeah, like this. We're gonna name it dashboard like this, dashboard like this. And in here, we need to specify that we're gonna use into the file, we're gonna use the admin layout like this. And here I can pass the admin, and here I'm passing dashboard like this. And now I'm gonna copy that and pass it into the admin layout. Okay, and this is the structure of the admin layout. We can pass here a navbar here. We can pass here, let's say we can have here a navbar. Okay, and now in order to render a particular page, we are going to pass here auth. We can pass here auth / sign-in, and then we're gonna render here the sign-in page. You can see we have here sign-in. Okay, and yeah, I think you understand, you get the idea of what is a layout. Now we have here another layout, which is the default layout. You can see I can just create a file at the root of a pages folder and pass here index the view. And when we tap the base URL of our Nuxt app, we're gonna load the file. And here I can just copy that. And here I'm gonna pass here, I'm gonna remove this, and I'm pass here welcome page. Okay, and you can see actually I don't specify into the page, I don't specify which layout we're gonna use. And as I don't specify which layout we're gonna use, we're gonna load the default layout. It means once we tap the base URL of our app, we're gonna load the file. Okay, and here I'm gonna copy that too in here. And here we can pass here even the menu, and pass here menu here. Okay, and then you're gonna see we're gonna render the default layout as we don't specify which layout we use here. And you can see in here, in order to move to the sign-in page, we pass here auth / sign-in. The auth is the folder where the sign-in page is located, and here I'm passing you only the base URL. And you can see we have here the menu here, but also we just render the welcome page. I think you understand what is a layout. A layout is basically a main page of our app. You can see we have here 3 main pages. We have the admin, auth, and default. Okay, and here I'm gonna pass you another folder. We can pass here learner, and inside of the learner folder, we're gonna put in all files related to the learner layout, and pass here learner the view. Okay, and I'm gonna copy contents in here and pass it into the admin here. Okay, yeah, we're gonna pass into the learner layout. Okay, and you can see we use here the slot here, the built-in component slot. We can just pass in Nuxt page. It is the same. You can pass in the slots or the Nuxt page. Okay, all right guys, now we're gonna be working on the authentication. And you can see actually we already set the Clerk publisher key and the Clerk secret key into the .env file. And here we are going to do another thing here, because we already finished this step here, installing Clerk, and set Clerk API keys into the .env file, and we pass this module to the modules array. And now we're gonna work on the sign-in page. And here Clerk provides us some component that we can use in order to get up and running the authentication. And we have the sign-in component here, guys. And you can see this beautiful sign-in form. And in order to add it into our app, we just need to copy it and then get into the sign in the view file, and here I'm past this. You can see this is the sign-in component here. You can see I just passed here Tailwind, some Tailwind CSS utilities like BG white for the background, H screen, and a passive flex, justify between, and the margin tag 20. Okay, and we pass here the sign-in components, and you can see we're gonna have it here. Beautiful. Okay, sign into LMS. This is the name of our application. And in order to add the sign up form, we just need to do this. We're gonna move here. We're gonna get in. I'm gonna copy this here, and we're gonna get into the sign up, the view file, and here we're gonna pass here sign up, yeah, to add the sign up form. Okay, and here I'm pass here sign up. Okay, and then if I tap inner, you're gonna see we have here the sign up form. Yeah, we're gonna provide here. We're gonna pass it the username, email, but also the password. And if you want, we can sign up with Google. Okay, you can see continue with Google. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify here something. You can see at the bottom of the button, you can see already have an account, and you can see sign in here. And if I click sign in, we need to be redirected to the sign in page. Okay, and if I click here, we are going to be redirected to this page to be to create an account. You can see, and here this is the link, guys. And if we don't provide here, we don't pass here the link to be redirected to the sign-in page, we are going to use the default link here provided by Clerk, okay, to create an account. And now what I'm going to do, you can see a Clerk component has some properties that we need to pass to it. And here you can see the sign-in here components has here some properties. We can pass here appearance, fallback. We can pass here the fallback redirect URL. Once we sign in, we need to specify where we should be redirected. Okay, and here this says here that instead of passing this property direct to the components, we should use environment variable. You can see if I get into the sign in the view file, and I can just pass here the fallback redirected URL, and then I pass here /admin/dashboard. Okay, now instead of doing this, we should create environment variables. Okay, and you can see it's recommended to use the environment variable instead. Okay, I'm gonna click here, and here we're gonna pass here the public Clerk sign-in URL. Okay, and instead of pass it here directly, I'm gonna remove that. Okay, and then as I've already prepared that, we're gonna copy that here. Okay, and here I'm gonna copy here these two, and then we're gonna pass it into the .env file, and I'm pass it here. Okay, and you can see form here we have here form links. You can see Clerk sign up URL, and we have here the Clerk sign in URL. You can see of / we're gonna pass this sign in, and here we're gonna pass here, yeah, I'm passing Clerk sign up, I'm passing sign up like this, and here should pass here sign in. Okay, and once we create an account or we are authenticated, we are going to be redirected to the dashboard. Okay, and here we have the Clerk sign up fallback redirect URL. Once we create an account, we're going to move to dashboard, and here we have here another one, which is the Clerk after sign out URL. And if we sign out, we are going to be redirected to the login page. Okay, and now let's try this. Okay, now you can see that actually if I click sign in, we are going to move to the sign in. If I click sign up, you're gonna move to the sign up page. And this is because I just passed here these links. Yeah, instead of passing this property directly to the component, it's better to pass it here. That's what I said to the Clerk documentation, guys. Okay, and also you can see the directions link here. You can see here we have the Clerk sign in force redirect URL, and once we sign in, we're going to be redirected to the dashboard, and once we sign up, you're going to be redirected to the dashboard. And here you can see, here I'm gonna move here, you're gonna see, and you can see the pass here next. And here we pass here Nuxt, okay? Yeah, if you pass here next, you're gonna get an error. And pass here public Clerk Nuxt public Clerk sign-in false redirect URL. And this says this if provided this URL will always be redirected to after the user signs in, okay? And here we have also the sign up false redirect URL. Now we're gonna create an account, and here I'm gonna move here sign in. We have here sign in and sign up, okay? I'm gonna create an account. Continue with Google, and then here we are going to see what we're gonna get, and we're gonna wait a bit. And here they redirect us on Google, and here I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna choose my account here, and here you can see we have here Clerk. This is the Clerk logo right here, and I'm gonna click continue, and then let's see what we're gonna get. And you can see filling, yeah, you can see filling missing field, and here I can pass the ban like this, and then I'll click continue, okay? And your username must be between 4 and 60 characters long, okay? And pass here ban 12, okay, like this, and then I'll click continue, and you can see actually we're on dashboard, and it works pretty well, okay? Yeah, actually we're on dashboard, okay? Yeah, but they redirect us on the welcome page. We're gonna fix that, and here I don't know why, but we're gonna figure it out. And here I'm pass here off. Yeah, I'm pass here off signing. Okay, and you can see actually they redirect us on dashboard because we are authenticated. And now we're gonna move to Clerk here. We're gonna cap another components that we're gonna use in order to display the name and details of the user who's logged in, okay? And here we're gonna move here. We have here another component, user button. I'm gonna look for it. And here we have the user button here. And this is the user button. And if we cap these components, you're gonna see, we are going to see the name and details of the user who's logged in, okay? And in order to use that, I'm gonna cap it, and then I'll pass it into the dashboard, okay? We're gonna head up into the dashboard page here, dashboard, and then I'm pass it here. And this is the user button, okay? Now let's see what we got here. And you can see this is the user button. You can see this is my picture, and this is the name that I use. It's Google, a Jumbo, and my username here, Ben12, okay? And here we have the sign out, okay, the sign out link. And if I click manage my account, and here you can see the redirect us on the profile where I can change my username here. If I click here, I have the possibility to change it here, guys, okay? And yeah, that's cool. Now we are going to, as we just finished that, I'm gonna click here sign out to see what we're gonna get. And here, let's try to move to the dashboard again. I pass the admin /dashboard. And you can see actually we're on the dashboard, and we don't see the user button here. And we want to protect the dashboard, okay? If you're not authenticated, we shouldn't see the dashboard page. And we have here another component, which is the protect. Yeah, I'm gonna look for protect here, protect component, and we're gonna move here. Yeah, we are going to scroll to the bottom here. We have protect and tap here. We got it here, okay? This is a component and the protects. And in order to protect a given page, we are going to pass the contents of the page into the protect components, okay? And here, as we are using view, we're gonna click here, and we are going to copy that. And then we are going to get into the dashboard, okay? And get into the dashboard layout. I'm gonna head in. Yeah, we have here the admin layout. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna copy that here. And then I'm gonna copy this. And I'm going to pass it here. And you can see, if we are not authenticated, we're gonna see this message. You do not have the permissions to create an invoice. Yeah, I'm gonna pass here. I can say you are not, you can pass you are not authenticated. Yeah, like this. And let's see what we're gonna get here. And yeah, you can see you are not authenticated. And here I'm gonna create here another component, another folder. We're gonna put in all our components and pass the component with an S, and we are going to pass here off here, and instead of it we're gonna pass here and pass the redirect to login, okay, the view. And let me copy content in here, and then pass it here, okay. And here I'm passing unmounted, okay. And we are going to move to the login page here and pass a window that's location that's href is equal to, and I pass a /o/login, okay, like this. And yeah, like this. And then here I'm passing message, you are not, yeah, and pass here, you are not authenticated, okay, like this. And that's what we're gonna pass it. I'm gonna pass these components into the admin view file, and here we're gonna head up here, and let me copy that. We're gonna pass it here. That's what we're gonna render. And here I'm gonna copy the name, rename, and then I'm gonna pass it here, okay, redirect to login. And here, in order to load the component, we're gonna add something into the Nuxt.config.ts, and we are going to copy that. We're gonna pass it here, okay, yeah, to load that component. And you can see we pass here component. We're gonna load our component into the component folder, and I pass here the path prefix is equal to false. And if I pass here true, it means if you want to use the component, we need to do this. Yeah, let me head in the admin. And if we need to use the component, we should pass here the name of the folder where this component is located, of which is the folder, redirect to login, okay. And as I pass path prefix to false, we don't need to specify the folder where this component is located, okay. And now we're gonna try to check what we're gonna get here. And now you can see they're gonna redirect us on the login page here, yeah, of /login. And here they don't find it. Yeah, we should pass here sign in. I'm gonna pass here of /sign in, okay, sign in. And here let me pass here again and try to move to dashboard again and pass here admin /dashboard, and you're now authenticated. Yeah, we pass here bad name sign in, yeah, like this. Sign, yeah, we pass sign in, yeah, like this. We should pass, I'm gonna cut that. That's what we should pass here, okay, sign in like this. And if I pass here again, pass here admin /dash, yeah, this is the page. Alright guys, now we're going to be talking about row management. You can see, actually, we already created a user. I'm going to head up into our Clerk dashboard. And in here, you can see we have a users menu. And we're going to move here. You can see, actually, we already created only one user. And if I try to see here is profile, I'm going to click here, view profile. And here we can see this is the name of the user we created, the last name. And we have also added information like username. And here at the bottom, we have metadata. And metadata are a type of property in Clerk that we can use when we want to set a private data. And we have here public metadata, private, and unsafe. Public metadata are a type of properties that we can get access to it on the client and on the server. We have a private metadata, a type of data or property that we can get access to it only on the server, okay? And we have here unsafe metadata that we can get access to it on the client and on the server, okay? And here we are going to move here. You're gonna go at clerk.com /docs to the documentation, and here you're gonna scroll all the way to the bottom here. And here, first of all, here guys, we're gonna talk about the Clerk hooks here. You can see Clerk has here some hooks like use user hooks. This is composable, and we can use these use hooks composable to get access to the data of the user, okay? And here I'm going to scroll here. Okay, you can see we have, if we use the use hook inside of our app, we are going to have the possibility to get access to the name, email, ID of the logged in user. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna get into the dashboard page here, and I'm past here, and we are going to get access to the user name here. Pass here user, and then here pass here first name, and you're gonna see we're gonna have it here. Okay, now I'm going to log in again. Here I'm gonna click continue, and here we have here admin. I'm gonna get rid of this permission here. I'm gonna remove it, and then yeah, I'm gonna remove that. You can see actually we're on dashboard, and you can see this is the username. I'm gonna zoom a little bit. This is the username here, and yeah, this is the username, and also we have we can get access to the user ID. Pass here user ID and pass here the ID. Okay, yeah, this is the ID is a string. Yeah, let me refresh again. You're gonna see you're gonna have here the ID. This is the user ID, guys, is a string. And now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to use the user ID in order to update the public metadata. So that we are going to set the raw. Okay, and here I'm going to move here. You can see this is the Clerk hooks. We have a bunch of them here. You're going to come here and rate. If we need to use, let's say, the use Clerk composable, we can come here and use it if we need it. Okay, now I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm gonna move here. Okay, we are going to, let me go at the top here. I'm gonna click overview, and here I'm gonna, yeah, we are going to move here, managing users in the front end. Yeah, we're gonna move here, manage users in the back end. Okay, and in order to manage users in the back end, we are going to use the JavaScript backend SDK provided by Clerk. Okay, now I'm gonna click here. And here we are going to install this SDK. You're gonna tap npm install at clerk/backend, and then here we are going to instantiate this. We are going to create the Clerk clients, and what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna copy that, and then we are going to head up into the server folder, and I'm pass here a folder API. And inside of the API folder, I'm passing another folder. I'll name it off. And we can pass here another folder. I'll name it admin. Okay. And inside of the off folder, I'm passing here updates raw like this. This is the endpoint.ts. And that's what I'm passing here. And I'm passing exports defaults define. Yeah, and pass define events handle. Now we are going to copy here another code in order to update here the public metadata. Okay, and here I'm gonna go back here. We have here metadata. You can see we have here metadata. Okay, I'm gonna click here metadata, and this says this. We have private, public, and unsafe. You can see the metadata is private, no read or write access. On the backend, read and write. If it's public, read access, and here read and write access. Unsafe, read and write access, read and write access. You can see these are 3 types of metadata we have in Clerk. And here we are going to scroll to the bottom here. And here, let's say we want to update the metadata. Let's say the public metadata. I'm gonna scroll down here, public metadata. And we are going to copy that here, and that's what I'm passing here. Okay, and here I'm gonna copy that, pass it here, and what I'm going to do here, I'm passing config, and then I'm passing use runtime config, and we're going to get access to the Clerk secret key. Now, in order to get access to it, we're gonna get into the Nuxt.config.ts, and here we're gonna pass in Nuxt Clerk secret key. Process.env Nuxt Clerk secret key. Okay, and I'm gonna copy that, and we are going to create here constant secret and pass a secret key like this is equal to config that Nuxt Clerk secret key, and that's what I'm passing here. Okay, and then we are going to pass here the user ID. We are going to request for the user ID, and here I'm passing a sync like this. And here I'm pass here user ID, and I'm pass here read body. Okay, read body methods. Okay, and we're gonna pass here the events like this, and pass here the events. Yeah, pass here the events like, yeah, we're gonna pass here the events like this. Okay, read body, we are going to get access to the user ID. Okay, and here what I'm going to do next, I'm pass here the row, and I'm going to create here another folder inside of the API folder, and here I'm pass here tabs. I can pass here even tabs here, and inside of the tabs folder, we're gonna pass in, yeah, we're gonna pass in user raw.ts, and in here I'm gonna create a new name tab and pass export default, and here we can pass the exports, and then I'm pass here, you can pass the enum tab, and we're gonna pass the user raw, and we're gonna have two tabs of raw. We're going to pass the admin, yeah, and pass here admin is equal to admin like this, and also we're gonna have here learner is equal to learner. Okay, then I'm pass here cam. Now we are going to use this enum tab inside of the update raw.ts endpoints. We are going to import it here, pass here user raw, we're gonna import it, and then that's here we're gonna pass here, let's say that's learner. Okay, right now we're gonna pass it that learner, and we're gonna pass it the user ID. And actually we got here a typing error. This is a typing error, and we are going to catch an error. If we got a saver error, I'm gonna wrap that into try catch. Okay, and pass here try catch. Okay, yeah, and that's I'm pass it here, and then we are going to throw an error. If we got an error, we're gonna pass here throw create error, and then we're gonna pass here a message. Yeah, message pass here failed to update raw, and pass failed to update user raw. Okay, you're gonna pass here user raw, and we're gonna pass here the status. Yeah, I'm passing the status code. We're gonna pass here 500, which means they say it's a saver error. Okay, like this. And then what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to do this. We are going to move to the dashboard here, and in here you can see actually we need to get access to the metadata. And here for this user, in order to get access to the metadata, we can pass here user.public public metadata. You can see. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'm gonna refresh the page. You're gonna see we're gonna have here some metadata. Yeah, you can see we have here example data. Now what we are going to do here, we are going to make an HTTP request to these endpoints. We're gonna send the user ID as parameter, and you can see that actually I use fetch. It means when we are going to run the dashboard page, we're gonna make immediately an HTTP request to the server. And here, instead of passing here read body, I'm passing get query now. And here we are going to get rid of this typing error and pass it const, pass user ID, and is equal to query. And here we're gonna pass here that user ID. We are going to assert it as a string. Okay, and here I'm pass here const like this. And so we are going to return a message, and pass a message, pass here user, pass user row. Okay, user row updated successfully. Okay, like this. And that's what we're gonna send. And now let's check this. Yeah, we got an error. We are going to refresh the page, and we are going to check if we are going to update the public metadata. Okay, in order to append the error to the user. And yeah, let me pass you that. Yeah, we are going to head into the Clerk dashboard, and in here, and you can see actually we got here data. Now I'm gonna click here edit and see what we're gonna see here. I'm gonna refresh the page. Okay, yeah, we don't update it. You can see we got here example data, and here let me check here. We don't update it, and here I'm going to do this. As we don't update it, I'm gonna try to check here. We are going to pass here now the data to see what we're gonna get here. Yeah, data is fetch API /o/update raw. And here I'm gonna refresh the page here. Yeah, we're gonna refresh the page, and then we're gonna try to check what we're gonna get from the server. Okay, and it seems that actually we don't update the user row, and I'm gonna wrap the function into, copy that and pass here update, pass here update row like this, and then we are going to pass in that, okay, and pass here sync, okay, and here we are going to pass here that event and pass here on click event. On click event, we are going to call the update row function and pass it here. And now let's click here and see what we're gonna get. Is data. Yeah, pass it the data. Let me console the data here, console.log. Okay, and here now we are going to make an HTTP request to the server. And yeah, I'm gonna move to the dashboard and pass it off. Yeah, we're gonna pass here admin/dashboard. Okay, yeah, like this. Now I'm gonna click here dashboard, and you can see actually it seems we update the user row here. I'm gonna click here again, and you can see actually we got an error, failed to update the user row, and we got an error, status server error. And here let me check why. And here, yeah, this status, yeah, failed to update user row. And here we are going to head up to the updates row.ts. We are going to try to find the error. Okay, and here let's try to fix the error. In here, it seems we got an error here. Query that's user ID. Okay, now let me check what we are sending here. And once we click here into the network tab and in headers, yeah, let me check in headers. Yeah, let me check here, pass here this. Yeah, I'm gonna click here, and you can see actually we don't send the user ID here, we don't send it. Preview, response, we don't send the user ID. That's why we got this type of error. And here we are going to check this, and if I pass here console.log user ID, and yeah, dashboard, user ID here, and we don't send it. Okay, user ID here. And now let's check again. I'm gonna click here again, dashboard, and let's see what we're gonna get inside the console. You can see actually the user ID is undefined here. Yeah, I see why we don't get the user ID, guys. You can see in here, the user property is a reactive property. Now, in order to get access to the user ID, we should pass here that value, okay, like this. And then we are going to get access to the user ID. Yeah, like this. Now I'm gonna uncomment this because the user ID is a reactive property. And here we're gonna check again here. I'm gonna click here dashboard. Yeah, you can see actually we send the user ID. We send the user ID. Yeah, we got it. And the response here, you can see user row updated successfully. Now let's check here to the Clerk dashboard. I'm gonna refresh the page, and then you can see actually we have here for the public metadata, we have the row is equal to learner, and we update it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna create another layout, and we're gonna name it checkoff. Instead of it, we're gonna add in a condition to check if a given user is a row. If the user has a row of admin, we're gonna redirect him immediately to the dashboard. Okay. If the row is a learner, we're gonna redirect it immediately to the learner. Okay, to the learner layout. And if the user doesn't have a row, we are going to append him a row. That's what we're gonna do inside of the checker layout. Okay. And I'm gonna copy. Yeah, we are going to head into the admin. We're gonna copy everything in here and pass it into the checker, the check off. Okay. And I'm gonna grab that here. Let's go back into the dashboard, and we're gonna grab that, and we're gonna pass into the check off layout. Okay. And I'm gonna create here another function. We're gonna pass a function and pass a function check row like this. And instead of it, we are going to create a constant. Const row is equal to user.value. Yeah, we're gonna pass here public metadata. Yeah, that we're gonna pass here this, And to get access to it, we're gonna pass here user, that value like this, the public metadata. And here we're gonna pass here row like this, and we're gonna make a check here if the row is equal to undefined, and pass here type of, yeah, we're gonna pass the type of row is equal to undefined. Okay, if it's equal to undefined, we are going to add it. Okay, we are going to do this. We are going to make an HTTP request to the server. We are going to call the update row function and pass it here. And here and pass here await. We're gonna pass here this await, and then we're gonna pass here update row like this. And here we should pass here sync. And what I'm going to do next, you can see in here we just check if the row is undefined. We're going to update it. Else if, we're gonna pass here else if the user row, and pass here the user row is equal to admin. And here you can see actually we got a tab here. We're gonna check if the row is equal to learner. That's what we're gonna do. And you can see we have here a tabs folder into the server folder. You can see we have a tabs folder into the server folder. And if we use the tab here on the front end, we're gonna get an error. Now, in order to get rid of this error, we're gonna create another folder. We're gonna name it URLs. Okay, URLs. Okay, and inside of the URLs folder, I'm going to import in the tabs folder. Okay, and pass it here so that we are going to get rid of the error. Okay, and I'm gonna call this type here. We're gonna pass here user row. Yeah, and in order to get it, I'm passing the lang as ts. Okay, lang ts, and then we are going to pass it here row that, let me check here, we're gonna pass here row that's learner, copy that, and pass it here. Yeah, lang is equal to ts. Okay, if the row is, yeah, you can see now TypeScript is working. Yeah, that's why we got here typing errors. We're gonna fix that later on, but we can continue. And here I'm gonna import that type here. Okay, like this. I'm gonna just pass it here. Okay, and then we're gonna remove the error. And here you can see we just check here if the user row is equal to a learner. We are going to redirect him immediately to the learner layout. We're gonna pass a window that's location, that's href, and we're gonna pass the href here, and here we're gonna pass here learner. Okay, /. We are going to pass here home. We are going to head in the learner folder and pass here the home, the view. Okay, and I'm passing content. Let me get in here and copy everything in here and pass it here. Okay, we're going to get rid of that here. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that, and we can stay only, we're gonna say home page of learner. Okay, and I'm gonna remove that data here. Okay, and this page use the learner layout and pass here learner layout. Okay, and we're going to go back in here, and we're gonna make another check here. Else if the user row is equal to admin, we're gonna redirect him immediately to the admin dashboard. Okay, and here I'm passing admin like this, and here we're gonna pass here home, and here I'm passing admin / dashboard. That I'm passing dashboard like this. And you can see once we update the row here, we are going to redirect the user to the learner layout. Okay, because the user, we consider the user is a learner. Okay, and here we are going to call the check row function. Yeah, we're gonna call it, and we are going to pass here on mounted. We're gonna call this function. Okay, and we are going to pass here check row function. Yeah, like this, and I'm passing a sync, and we're gonna pass here await check row. Now we're gonna try this, but before that, I'm gonna try to create here another component. You can see in here on the page here, we have this component. I'm gonna comment this one, and we're gonna take a look to the check of layout. We're gonna see how it looks like. And here we are going to head into the browser and pass here. Yeah, and here too, I'm gonna create here something like we have here a folder. I'm gonna name it check off. Yeah, I'm passing check off. Okay, and instead of the check off, I'm passing another folder. I'm passing here row like this. I'm passing check row. Okay, that view. And instead of it, you're gonna put in content. I'm copy here everything, and I'm passing it in here. Okay, and I'm passing check row like this. Check row page. And now let's see what we got in here. I'm passing here check off / check row like this. Okay, I'm tap enter, and you can see actually we don't got anything in here. We have here the menu here and check row. And what I'm going to do, let me get into the check off. And yeah, we are going to get into the check off here. We are going to remove something in here, check off. Okay, yeah, let me see what we got here. Check off. And yeah, we are going to get into a folder here, check off. Okay, and we pass here, let me pass here just row like this. Yeah, and here we're gonna pass here check off row. Okay, you can see that actually just ran the page, but we need to specify the layout. And here, instead of passing here check row, I'm passing here only row like this. And here we're gonna pass here layout. Let me copy here something. Yeah, I'm gonna copy the defined page method. We're gonna pass it in here. Okay, and I'm pass it here. And in here we're going to pass here check off. You can see this is the name of the layout, check off. Yeah, like this. And also if we head into the check off layout, we are going to do something like this. Yeah, and here, yeah, you can see in here we still have an error, and in order to get rid of that tapping error, I'm just pass here as any. Okay, and I'm going to create also a loading indicator. You can see actually if I pass here this check off and here pass here, we only got something like this. Yeah, they redirect us on the page here. You can see the redirect us on the learner / home. And because the type of row is equal to a learner, you can see, and so we're gonna put in something. You can see actually they don't find the page. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to do something like this. Yeah, we are going to head into the pages folder. Yeah, we have pages, and here we should get here learner, and instead of the learner we got here something in it. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this, and here home learner / home, and yeah, we use here the learner, but we don't actually got it. Okay, learner / home, and we don't find it. Yeah, page not found. Now we're going to put in the learner layout. It seems we don't have anything in it here. Yeah, next page we got something in here, but actually maybe we pass here bad name of the layout. Okay, and here I'm pass here this name. Yeah, define page method, and everything seems okay in here, but I don't know why we don't load it. Okay, let's refresh the page here. I'll pass here learner like this. Learner, yeah, okay, you can see we just ran the page, and we have here a typo into the check off. Yeah, we're gonna fix here typo. You can see pass here learner, yeah, like this. And we're going to uncomment redirect to login component because we need to check if a particular user is authenticated. And you can see actually we only got one user here into the Clerk dashboard. Now we're gonna create another one. I'm gonna click here, open. I'm gonna open another browser, and we are going to pass here localhost / sign. Okay, localhost of / sign. And we're gonna create another user here. Now I'm gonna click here sign up, and so we're gonna click continue with Google, and in here we're gonna create another one. Okay, we're gonna wait a bit, and now we're gonna select that account, and I'm gonna click continue. And then here we are going to, you can see actually they tell us to provide here the username. And also I would like to modify something immediately into the .env file. You can see in here, once a user sign in or sign up, we redirect it immediately on dashboard. But instead I'm passing check off because we need to check if this user has error. If it doesn't has error, we are going to give him error. That's what we're gonna do. And I'm passing check off, okay, and I'm passing /error, and I'm gonna copy that, and we're gonna pass it here. Now we're going to go back in here, and we're gonna pass here John as name, and click continue. And now here we are going to be redirected on the checkoff page. Now let's wait a bit. Immediately on the learner home, you can see home page of learner. It means they append him error, okay. And now you can see, let's check here the error of the user here, view profile, and we're going to move at the bottom here. You can see the actual error right here is learner. And now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to modify the error of the user. We're going to say the second user is going to be the admin, okay. And here we're going to pass here and click here edit, and I'm passing admin like this. We're going to click here save. Yeah, we're going to have only one admin inside of our app. And now here I'm going to move here. This is the admin here, and I'm going to do this. And here I'm going to click here sign out, and then we're going to sign in again. And here I'm going to click continue with Google, and they should redirect us on the dashboard page. You can see check raw page and homepage of learner. They redirect us on the homepage of learner. It seems we don't change the row. Now we're going to try to fix that. We are going to head into the checkoff layout in here. And right now I'm going to comment this code right here, and we're going to pass here console.log. We're going to pass here raw. We're going to see what we're going to get into the console, and here I'm passing checkoff /raw. And here you can see actually we got here undefined. And when we refresh the page, we haven't yet load data here. You can see we haven't yet already initialized that composable, and that's what we got undefined. Now what I'm going to do, you can see in here we pass here is loaded, and here I'm passing here a function, pass here watch effects, okay. And here we're going to pass here this. I'm gonna pass here is loaded. We're gonna check if we got data here, and I'm pass here callback, okay. And I'm pass if the value is equal to true, and pass here, yeah, we're going to pass here, I'm cap that is loaded, and I'm pass that value is equal to true. We are going to, let me cap that here, and then I'm pass it here is loaded that value. We're gonna console this row if the value is equal to true. We are going to watch it, okay. And here let me refresh the page again. The actual row right here is admin, and what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna get rid of the unmounted here. I'm gonna remove that, and I'm going to uncomment this line here, and I'm going to call the check row right here and pass it here, okay. We can basically pass it here, and I'm passing a sync because we have in a promise, and then I'm passing a wait, and we are going to pass here the row is a parameter. You can see I'm passing the row, and then we're gonna say the type should be a string. Now let's remove that here, and here I'm passing here the row like this. And now let's check again. And yeah, you can see actually they redirect us on the dashboard. Here you can see admin /dashboard. It works. And yeah, that's pretty good, guys. And that's okay in here. Everything is okay. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna try it again. Now let me try it again, okay? And here I'm gonna log out here, and then let's try to sign in again. Here, let's try to sign and continue with Google, and we should be redirected on the dashboard, okay. Check raw page, and here you can see dashboard. Actually, we're on the dashboard. It works pretty well, okay. And you can see this is the admin, okay. The row is admin, guys, okay. And this user too, and this one we are going to add in a check. You can see in here, if I pass here admin /dashboard, this user have the possibility to move to dashboard, and the row right here, the actual row is learner. And what I'm going to do here, instead of doing this, we are going to copy that. Yeah, you can see we are going to copy that, and here I'm going to head into the admin. Okay, and in here we're gonna add in a check here. I'm gonna copy everything in here. Let me copy everything in here, and we are going to pass into the admin layout. Okay, we're gonna pass it here, and I'm pass here lang is equal to ts, and here we are going to, I'm gonna comment this, and that's here, and here I'm gonna check if the row is equal to admin. Yeah, if the row is not equal to admin, we're gonna redirect him to the sign-in page. Okay, we're gonna redirect him on the sign-in page. Okay, yeah, everything is okay. And now we're gonna try to check this, and you can see this is a learner, and a learner can try to move to the admin, and here I'm pass here admin, and here I'm pass here dashboard, and tap enter to see where they're gonna redirect him. Yeah, okay. They redirect him immediately on the homepage of learner. You can see actually it works pretty well. Okay, that's cool. Alright guys, now gonna be talking about middleware. You can see if we're in the admin layout, we are inside of the admin layout, we got here some code to check if the user wants to get access to the admin page is an admin. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this code. You can see actually if we get rid of this code, we're gonna get a file which is clean. And here I'm going to pull that code into a middleware. Now we are going to move at the root of our project, and we're gonna pass here another folder. We're gonna name it middleware. And here I'm gonna create a global middleware and pass here of the global. Okay, global.ts. Okay, and also we're gonna have here another middleware. We're gonna name it check row. Okay, check row.ts. And inside of the global middleware, and this middleware is executed on every file that we're gonna visit. And inside of it, I'm gonna add in this code. You can see we importing the user code. And here, this middleware, we're gonna run it only on the clients. And you can see if on the server, you know, in Nuxt, when we try to render a page, first of all, they render the page on the server and then on the clients. And so once they're gonna render the page, the middleware on the server, it is not going to execute, but on the client, it's gonna execute. On the server, we're gonna return and define. And here, we're gonna go through this code here, this logic here. We're gonna get a path, the full path, and here we're gonna check if the path is equal to admin /dashboard, and the row is different from the admin. We are going to redirect the user immediately to the sign-in page. And yeah, I think you understand. Now we're gonna create another middleware. This one isn't a global middleware, it's simply a basic middleware, guys. And we are going to copy that and pass it here, and we're going to head in the check of layout. And all of this, I'm gonna copy the code here, and I'm gonna put it into the check of middleware. Okay, check row middleware. Yeah, I can just pass, yeah, check row middleware. We're gonna pass it here, but also we want to run this middleware only on the client. Okay, and here I'm pass it here. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that here, and yeah, that's okay in here. And you can see actually we got here an error, and I'm gonna pass here a string like this to get rid of the error. I just assert the row right here to be a string, and then we are going to remove that error. Okay, and inside of the page here, we're gonna get into the pages. We have row the view, and I'm pass here middleware. Okay, middleware like this, and then we're gonna pass it here, and here I'm passing check row. And on the page, once we land on the page, we are going to call the middleware. And that's pretty much it, guys. And if you want to learn more about middleware, you can just simply come here, tap Nuxt middleware, and Nuxt middleware, tap Nuxt middleware. Okay, and come in here, and then you're gonna learn more about middleware Nuxt. And you can see in here they explain everything about middleware, guys. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We just talk about a global middleware and a middleware which can be executed inside of a page. Okay, and yeah, like this. Now let's try it again, the last one. And here I'm going to move to the off here and pass it off sign in. I'm gonna try to sign in again and see what we're gonna get. Sign in page here, and you can see actually we are logged in, and that's why they redirect us on the dashboard page. And you can see that actually works pretty well. And now if I click sign out, we are going to be redirected on the sign in page. Okay, that's cool. Alright guys, now we're gonna make our dashboard looks beautiful. The admin layer, we're gonna add a dashboard using Tailwind CSS code. And guys, I just want to mention that in this video, I'm not going to focus on writing Tailwind CSS code here, because we got a lot of stuff to do throughout this video. We need to finish our app, and we're gonna manage courses, payments, video streaming, and at the end, we're gonna create an AI agent. We are going to talk about Retrieval-Augmented Generations, embeddings, and vector database. We're gonna talk about these topics. And what I'm gonna do here, I've already prepared a menu here, and that's what we're gonna use. And I'm gonna just simply copy it. I'm gonna copy here the code, because this is a little menu that we're gonna add in here. We're gonna pass into here, and I'm gonna copy that all the way to the bottom here. Yeah, okay, yeah, till here. I'm copy that and pass it here. I'm gonna get rid of this stuff here. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that, but also this div, and I'm pass the code here, and I'm gonna copy the rest of the code here. Yeah, I'm gonna copy that, and that's all I'm passing in here. Okay, and here we are going to move at the top here. Yeah, no error right now. And you're gonna notice we have here now a component, which is the menu item that we're gonna create into the component folder. And in here, pass here dashboard. Okay, this, yeah, we can just pass here dashboard, and then inside of it, we're gonna pass here menu item component, menu item, the view, and I'm gonna copy it here. We got the menu item here. We're gonna copy everything in here, and we're gonna pass it in here, guys. Okay, that's cool. And this is our menu. Okay, and now we're gonna head into the browser and see how it looks like. Okay, and actually we got an error. We are going to head into the admin layer, and at the bottom here we got an error. I'm gonna duplicate a div here. Yeah, we pass here the slot. Yeah, let me check here for the main section here. Yeah, we ended up here. I'm gonna remove that here, and then we are going to get something beautiful. Okay, and yeah, you can see for the menu item, we are going to get rid of it at the top here. I'm gonna remove it because in Nuxt we auto import components. Okay, and also let me head in here and check if we got something here. I'm gonna remove that. We're gonna auto import this value here and pass that at the top. Okay, and okay, now let's try this. Let's see what we got here. And you can see that actually you got a beautiful dashboard. This is a simple one, guys. I don't want to make things complicated. This is a simple one. Okay, we just finished with this menu here. And after that, we are going to create pages. We are going to head into the pages folder. And in here, we are going to head into the admin. And I'm going to create here category. We are going to categorize our courses, categories. And here, category is the view file. That's all what I'm passing here. And you're going to have here courses, the view. And I'm going to copy content in here, and we're going to pass it in here. Let me get rid of that code here. Yeah, we're going to remove that here. And I'm going to, first of all, what I'm going to do, guys, let me just first remove that here. I'm going to remove that. And you can see we have the user button in here. And this is the user button right here. Now we're going to pass the user button at the top right corner. you can see, and we're gonna display the username. And to do so, I'm going to I'm gonna remove that, and I'm gonna copy the user composable. We're gonna pass it into the admin layout. We're gonna pass it here because we need to display the username. And here we got here iJumbo. We're gonna pass here user that first name, okay, first name like this. We're gonna go back into the dashboard.view file, and we're gonna remove that here, that too, and also we are going to copy the user bar and we're gonna pass it there. I'm gonna copy that, and we're going to go back into the admin layout. We're gonna pass it here, okay. We have here an image tag and pass it here the user bar, and now let's see how it looks like. And yeah, you can see, and we have here the user button, but also we have here the username. Okay, that's cool. And what I'm going to do, you can see actually we just created 2 pages here. We have the categories and courses, and right now I'm gonna copy that and pass it into the courses, and we're gonna pass the courses, and we're gonna copy that again and pass it to the categories, and here we're gonna pass the categories. And now we are going to work on the menu, and here we're going to pass here a component which is the Nuxt link component to move to a particular page. And here we're going to head into the menu item, and in here, guys, you can see we're defining a prop. Our menu item has some prop here. We have the icon, the label, and the collapse here in order to show and hide the sidebar, okay. And here we are going to pass here the Nuxt link components and pass it Nuxt link like this, and that's what we're going to copy and pass it here, okay. And we are going to get rid of the 2 attributes and pass it. We're going to get rid of the href, but instead we're going to pass it 2. And here what I'm going to pass here, I'm going to pass here the icon. We're going to use, you can see we have here dashboard settings. We're going to pass here the icon name. And here I'm passing dashboard. Once we pass it the icon name, and the icon name is going to be considered as the link here. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy here icon svg, and I'm going to pass it here. I'm passing /, and here we are going to pass here vbounds, and we're going to pass it here plus, and here I'm passing /, okay, like this. Yeah, like this, guys. And if you head in the browser, you're gonna see we're gonna have here something like the menu, the link here. Yeah, we don't pass here the link, but we're gonna pass here the props. Yeah, let me copy here the props.icon, which is the name of the icon, and that's all we're gonna pass it here, okay. And there we go. You can see actually if we put our cursor over the settings, we're going to move to the settings page. And here I'm gonna pass here admin /settings, and now we're going to create here a menu which represents categories, and we got here for the users. Now let me check here. Yeah, we are going to get rid of this one. Where we got here settings, we can name it even categories and pass here categories, okay. And we're going to head in the admin, the view file. We're going to pass here categories, okay. Let me just pass here categories. You can see pass here settings and pass here categories like this. And here I'm going to comment this line here, okay. Now let's check here. We got here categories. And if I type categories, you can see we got here categories. So we move to the categories page. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create another menu. I'm gonna name it courses. Let me copy this one. We're gonna pass here courses, and we're gonna copy that. We're gonna pass it to the label, and we are going to go back in here inside the menu item, and we can just pass here courses, okay. And we are going to remove these two properties right here, and we have here courses. Yeah, for the courses, I'm gonna put it at the bottom. Yeah, but I don't like that icon right here, guys. I'm going to change it, and instead of that, let me try to pick a beautiful icon here. Yeah, I can just stay with that, and we're gonna try to see if we can change it later on. Yeah, courses, And you can see we move to the courses page. Now I want to show you something, guys. You can see in here, I'm going to move here, right here inside the console. Yeah, we are going to inspect here this menu, okay? And you can see this is the link right here, which is the Nuxt link, okay? And you can see I'm going to move to the courses. You're gonna see we have categories. Let me first remove something in here. I'm going to get rid of this p tag, and you're gonna see something here, okay? And you can see this is the current link here, which is the categories, and we have here a name tag, okay? And we are going to look for a class here, which is the router link exact active, and we got it here, okay? I'm gonna select it right here. You can see router link exact active, and see I'm gonna scroll like this, and we got it right here. Every time we visit a given link here, they pass it a class router link exact active to say that this is the active menu, okay? I'm gonna move to the courses. You're gonna see they're gonna pass here to the end tag, they're gonna pass it the router link active class here. You can see we have here to the courses. You can see this right here. We have router link exact active. Okay, we got it right here. If I move on the page here, we're gonna add the class to. If I move to the categories, we're gonna pass here the router link exact active class, and you can see we need to add here a background color. Once we're on the categories page, we need to see that we're on the categories page. And once we move to the categories page, we need to see that we're on the categories page, okay? And what I'm going to do, I have here some CSS code. I'm gonna copy that, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna copy that CSS code right here, and then I'm pass it at the bottom here. We are going to get into the admin layout, okay? And we're gonna pass that here. Yeah, this is not the right code. Yeah, we're gonna pass this one here, and you can see I just pass here a class which is the router link exact active class. You can see we have here router link exact active, and you can see if we head in the browser, we're gonna have here a background color. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to change this background color, but also you can see the courses right here, the link starts with a lowercase character. Now we're gonna change that, and in here I'm pass here right now this code here, and for the background color here, I'm going to copy that. You can see we have here BG gray. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna copy this line here, and I'm going to pass here at the bottom. You can see I'm passed here, and we are going to pass here BG gray 200 like this, and I'm pass here semicolon. Now let's first check here. You can see actually we got here a background color. We got here courses. This is a gray color, and if we move to categories, we're gonna pass it here. Now I'm going to move the menu item, and here we're gonna pass here categories with capital letter, and here I'm passing categories for the courses, and we are going to head into the menu item because we need to change that. If we don't pass that in here, we don't pass that into the menu item, you can see actually we are not going to display the icon, and that's why we have to pass here something which is gonna match the name. And now let's head into the menu item. Yeah, we are going to pass here menu item, and here once we pass here the menu item, we are going to display the icon, and I'm passing categories like this. And here we're gonna pass here courses like this, and we are going to render here the icon. You can see actually works. And now we are going to start interacting with the database. We are going to install the Prisma /Nuxt. Okay, we're going to install that package so that we are going to start doing database operations. And you're gonna copy that command here, and you're gonna add the package into the modules array. I'm gonna copy that, and I'm pass it to the modules array. We are going to get into the Nuxt.config tiers. We're gonna pass it here. Okay, and yeah, guys, I've already installed the package. You can see I got a package right here. I've already installed it, and you should tap npm install to get it. Okay, and once we pass this package into the modules array and we tap npm run dev, we are going to run through these steps right here. You can see automatically install the Prisma CLI and initialize the Prisma project with a SQLite database. Okay, we're gonna run through all these steps right here when we tap npm run dev. Now let's try to tap the command here, and you're gonna see what we're gonna get. And here pass the npm run dev here, and we're gonna wait a bit. You're gonna see that we're gonna run through all these steps right here. And yeah, let's wait a bit. You're gonna see, yeah, you can see, do you want to migrate database changes to your database? And I'm passing yes. Okay, and actually we're gonna run through an error because we haven't yet created our database. And here you can see, actually we should get here folder at the roots of our project. You can see we got the lib folder, and instead of the lib folder we got the Prisma clients. It's right here, and we have the Prisma schema inside of the Prisma folder here. And yeah, I'm going to head into the Prisma schema. You can see. And for the database, we're gonna use Postgres. And if you head in the .env file, you're gonna see we have here another environment variable we added when tap npm run dev. Okay, we got the database URL. Now for the database here, we are going to use Postgres Neon, which is a serverless Postgres database. And you're gonna come in here, guys. Go at neo.com and create an account. So once you create an account, you're gonna move to the Neo dashboard, and here, once in here, you're gonna create a database. Okay, you can see I've already created here LMS app, and once you create a database, you're gonna click on it. You can see I'm gonna click here, I'm gonna click on it right here. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna click dashboard, and in here, once you click dashboard, you're gonna move in here, guys. And you're gonna copy the connection string here. You're gonna click here, connect. You're gonna click right here, and then we're gonna copy that here. I'm gonna copy that right here, and that's what I'm pass into the .env file for database connection. Okay, I'm passed right here. Okay, and once I just passed that here, we are going to create a model. Now I've already prepared here model, which is the category. We are going to group our courses by categories. Okay, I'm passed here, and I'm going to get rid of this to file right here, the dev.db. I'm gonna get rid of this SQL database, and I'm going to copy something in my todo.emd file, and we are going to copy this command in order to initialize the migration. I'm tap npx prisma migrate dev -- name switch to UID. We're gonna use UUID, guys, and I'm gonna copy that, and I'm going to pass it right here. Yeah, we're gonna pass it here, and we are going to close this and pass here npx prisma migrate dev -- name switch to UUID. Okay, and guys, you can see that the migration is done here. We already applied the migration, and you can see Postgres database NeoDB, and it works. And now here we are going to head into, you can see inside of the Prisma folder we have migrations folder, and this is the category model. Now we are going to head into the Neon dashboard, and in here we're gonna try to see if we're gonna have the table. I'm gonna click here, table. You can see at the left corner, we should see here the category table. Let's see if we're gonna have it right here. Okay, and actually you can see Prisma migrations. Okay, and we have here the category table. Okay, this right here, category table and the Prisma migrations table. Okay, and we have here the ID, but also we have here the text. Okay. Now, as we already established the database connection, we are going to talk about UUID. You can see, actually, I've already created here. The model is the category, and we don't use here a auto increment ID. Okay, and here we're gonna use UUID, and you can see I pass here the UUID function. And this function right here, when we're gonna try to create a given category, we are going to generate a random unique ID. And you can see we have here, if we go at Prisma Doc here, we have here a native DB function that we can use in order to generate a UUID too on the client, but also on inside of the database. This one here, if we use the Prisma client, we have the Prisma client here. We are going to generate the UUID when we are going to try to create a given category on the inside of our app. But if we move to the saver, we are not going to create a random UUID. And in order to do so, to generate the UUID with the Prisma client, but also on the also inside of the database, we are going to use a native DB function. And this is the native DB function that we're going to use. We are going to copy that here, this line, okay? And we are going to pass it here. I'm going to pass the line here, okay? And here we pass the ID string, ID default, DB generated gen random UUID. And this is the native DB function, okay? Inside of NeoDB, if we try to create a category, we can generate the ID, the random UUID automatically. Instead of using the UUID, we can, if we use the UUID, we are going to generate the ID, this random string, only when we try to create a category with the Prisma client. And now we are going to copy something here. We are going to pass here. We're going to use a Postgres extension, which is the PG crypto. We're going to use that extension. Okay. And I'm going to copy that. We are going to head into the Prisma schema in here, and I'm pass it that here. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of that line right here. Okay. I'm going to remove that. We have here preview feature. We add the line here, and we pass here the database URL, but also the PG crypto extension. So that we are going to generate a UUID automatically on the clients, but also inside of the Postgres database. Now we are going to move to the next thing. We are going to get into the server folder. We're going to create an endpoints, and inside of the server folder, we have the admin folder, and I'm passing category. We're going to put in all endpoints related to the category. Okay. And here, yeah, I'm passing also course. Okay. You can pass the courses, and here I'm passing you even categories like these categories. Okay. And we're going to pass here the first endpoint. We're going to pass here create. Okay, the TS, and instead of it, I'm gonna head into the update TS. I'm gonna copy everything in here and I pass it here. Okay, and in here we are going to pass here read body. Okay, and we are going to extract here the name, and I'm gonna remove everything else here. And we are going to pass here a message. If we got an error, we're going to pass here failed to update. Yeah, failed to create category. Okay, this is the message that we're going to pass here. Failed to create category. Okay, and here we're going to get rid of this two line here at the top of define event handler. And now I'm going to create another folder inside of the categories folder. I'm name it modules. And inside of the modules, we're going to pass here another file. We're going to pass here validate input, validate category input. Yeah, like this. Validate category input to TS. And in here, we're going to use Zod here, which is schema validation library. And I just imported Zod here. And I pass here schema create category, and I validate here the name. We're going to validate the name. We're going to try to create a given category, and category is required. Invalid type error, we're going to send this one. And for the minimum and maximum character. Okay. And we have here another schema, which is the update category schema. We're going to require the ID and name. Okay. And we're going to go back inside the create TS, and in here, I'm going to pass this line here. We are going to pass here. We are going to import the create category. We're going to import the create category schema, and we're going to pass here the name. And here we are going to pass here. We are going to throw an error, and I'm pass here. We are going to call the function throw create error, and I'm pass here throw and then we're gonna pass here create error, and we're gonna pass here message, okay, and validation errors. And in here, guys, you can see actually we got some typing errors, and the read body function returns a promise, and as it returns the promise, we should pass there a weight, and then we're gonna extract the name. And here for the validation errors array, this is gonna be an array, and in order to get rid of this error, I'm pass here as any, okay, because we don't know the type here. And now we're gonna try to check if this category exists inside of the database. If this category exists inside of the database, we're going to throw an error. We're going to tell the user that this category has already been taken, okay? And in here, I'm passing here constant const category exists like this, and we're going to pass here a weight. We're going to pass here Prisma, okay? And if we move at the top, you can see we import the Prisma client here, and the Prisma client is located to the lib folder. We got the lib folder here, and the Prisma client is right here, okay? And then we're going to pass here that category, which is the model category, and then find unique, okay? Find unique, and we're gonna pass here where clause, and we're gonna pass here where the name is equal to the name, okay? And if the category exists, we're gonna throw an error. We're gonna say throw create error. This category has already been taken. This category has already been taken, okay? This is the message, and here we're gonna create a category, and here I'm pass here return. We're going to return here JSON, and I'm passing message category created, okay, created, and we're gonna pass here with a status status code of 201, okay, like this. But also we're gonna return the created category and pass it here, okay, like this. And yeah, we just finished in here. Now we're gonna create another endpoint to update the category, and in here we're gonna move here and pass here update the TS, okay? And let's copy content in the created TS, everything in here, and pass it here. And to update a category, we're gonna need here to input the name but also the ID, and we are going to use here the update category schema, okay? And we're going to remove the create category schema, okay? And I'm gonna pass you the name but also the ID, yeah, like this. And here we are going to throw an error, a validation error, if the name is invalid or the ID. And for the ID here, if we move to the validate category inputs, you can see the ID should be a string because we use UUID, okay? And yeah, let's go back in here, and we are going to remove that here, and here we are going to pass you the ID, and here and pass here update, okay? We are going to pass here a where clause, okay? ID is equal to the ID, and here we are going to remove here that ID, okay? Like this. We pass here category away Prisma the category updates, and we pass the ID, okay? And we're gonna pass here category updated, okay? This is the message, and here we're going to return a status of 200, and I'm gonna remove this one here, and we are done in here. Now we're gonna create another endpoint to get all created categories. We're going to return them to the clients, okay? We're gonna pass here get categories, and yeah, I'm pass here get like this, because we don't need to pass here get categories, because when we are going to pass here the path is gonna look like this. We are going to pass the API / and we're going to get into the admin folder / categories / create. This is gonna be the path to get access to a given endpoint, okay? And if pass the categories, that's get, we're going to return an array of categories. And again, we're going to copy everything in the create here, and we're going to pass in here, and we're going to modify here. And here, I'm going to remove all of that here. We're going to remove all of that here, and we're going to return only an array of categories. I'm going to remove that here. Yeah, inside of the create here, we are going to fix something here and pass here instead of the update. We are going to change here the message. Yeah, here update here, because if you get an error, we need to return that failed to update the category. Okay. And instead of the get here, we are going to pass here find many, and here I'm gonna remove that object. And in here, guys, we aren't gonna use pagination. And we are not going to use pagination in here, but instead of the courses folder, we're gonna use pagination, because I suppose for the categories we are not going to have many categories. That's why I don't use here pagination. We are going to simply return and rev categories. And here I'm gonna remove that here. I'm gonna remove that, and we are done here. We're going to return simply and rev categories. And we just finished in here, guys. Now the next thing is to create the category interface, but also we're gonna create the model. Now we're going to move at the top here. You can see we have a folder component, and we have here off. Now we're gonna create another folder inside of the component folder. I'm gonna name it base here, base, okay? And inside of the base here, we're gonna put in the base input, pass it base input, the view like this. We're gonna pass in the base model, the view, okay? And we're gonna pass in the base button, okay? Base btn, the view, okay? Like this. Before we start working on our base button here, we are going to finish with the get endpoints. We should pass here failed to get categories. We forgot to modify here, okay? This value. Okay, now let's go back. And in here we have the base btn. We're gonna start with that. And in here I'm gonna pass in this code. And this is the base btn in here. You can see actually it is the loading property, but also the label. And when we're gonna call the button, we are going to pass it this property loading. And if the value is equal to true, we are going to disable the button, and also we're gonna show the loading icon. And I'm gonna create here another component. I'm gonna name it loading icon, the view. We're gonna pass in this code is an SVG icon, okay? And here we are going to call that. Let's head into the categories page, and then I'm gonna call it here. And you can see pass it base button, label create, this is the name of the button, and also we pass here the loading. You can see actually the value is equal to false. Now let's see what we got here. You can see this is the button here with a blue sky color, and I'm gonna pass here loading is equal to true. You're gonna see what we're gonna get here, and we are going to have here this loading icon, and you can see actually we disable here the button. You can see, okay, and this is how it's gonna work, guys. Now let's move to the base inputs. For the base input, we're gonna pass in these inputs. And here I'm gonna pass here some props. Okay, we're gonna pass the props, and is equal to define props to define prop macro. We are going to pass it an array, and here we're gonna pass here like the value, the model value. This is gonna be a property model value. We're gonna pass it the type here, but also we're gonna pass it the placeholder. Placeholder is gonna be a property. And in here I'm not defining here an event const. We're gonna pass here const emit is equal to define emit here, and in here we're gonna pass here update model value like this event, and then we're gonna call it function update input, and in here we're gonna pass it the event, and then pass it const var is equal to event that targets target that value, and we are going to call the event here update model value, and we're gonna pass it the value like this. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the update input on input event. When we're going to be tapping into the input, we're going to call the update input like this, update input like this, and I'm passing the type, and I'm going to check if the type of the type is different from undefined. We're going to pass it different from undefined, and if undefined, we are going to return the type here, okay? If it is different, we're gonna return the type, like this, else we're gonna return here we're gonna return here the text, okay, for the type of the input. And also we're gonna pass here the placeholder. Placeholder is equal to the placeholder, okay. Pass a placeholder like this. And we're gonna pass here for the value is equal to modal value like this, okay. And if you head into the categories page, we pass here the base input. I'm cut that, and I'm pass here this, the base, pass here the base input. And for the base input here, guys, we are going to pass here simply, yeah, vModal is equal to, yeah, let me define here an input here, const name is equal to ref, and we're gonna pass it the name, and we're gonna pass it the type. The type here is equal to text like this. Yeah, if we pass here, we don't pass the type, they're gonna return the text here. But I can pass here the place. I'm passing the placeholder, okay. And we're gonna pass here for the placeholder. We're gonna pass here name, okay. Enter name, okay, like this. And let's check again here. And yeah, you can see we got here the input, and I can enter here the name. Yeah, that's cool. And now we are going to work on another thing here. We are going to install something like for validating our input. We're going to install view validate, install that library. You're going to copy this command here, npm install, and we are going to scroll down, and in here we are going to copy this two line here. They explain how to use it, but first of all, we are going to create the base model. Inside of the base model is where I'm going to explain you how to use the view validate, okay. And here we have here the base model. Here we're going to put in a base model, and we're going to create here another folder. We're going to name it categories. Is where we're going to put in all components related to the category space. We're going to pass here category model, but also we're going to have here the category table like this, the view, okay. And we're going to pass here the table, and yeah, this is the table. I'm going to get rid of this here. And for the table, we're going to pass it prop categories. This is an array. And we're going to pass in an event ID category. And we have here three columns. Here we have the pound sign where we're going to pass in the increments. And we have here name action. Inside the action column, we're going to pass in the edit button. And we're going to iterate through the category, pass the category, and we pass the index in categories array. And here we're going to pass here index +1. Pass the category name, and we have here the button, okay. Pretty simple. This is the button. I'm gonna remove this line here, and when we're gonna call that, we can get into even the categories, and you're gonna see what we're gonna get. I'm gonna head into the categories here, and yeah, if we pass here this, yeah, I'm pass here category table, and category table. Yeah, like this. Let me check the name, category table, and we pass here categories. This is an array, and if I pass here this, and we pass here the ID, and here I'm pass 1, and also pass here the name. We can just pass here, and here I'm pass here JavaScript for the category, okay. Yeah, like this. And if we head into the browser, we're gonna get something here, okay. Let's move here. Yeah, actually got an error. And in order to get rid of this error, we can just create here for the name here and pass the categories, and I'm pass here an array like this ID. We're gonna pass here 1, and for the name, let me check here the name that we pass here is the name like this. And here we're gonna pass the name, and we can pass here JavaScript, okay. And we're gonna pass here the array, okay, which is the categories, and we're gonna have it something like this. Yeah, you can see we have here table, and we're gonna pass here server data, okay. Once we fetch data from the server, that's what we're gonna pass in here, Okay, it's pretty simple, guys. Yeah, and if you don't know how to create a prop, you can go check out this video, guys. I teach everything you need to know about props in Vue.js. And we're going to continue. We're going to get into the base folder, and we have the base model here. And instead of the base model, I'm passing the base model. And here the base model has a prop, which is the show, and we pass a visual in order to toggle the model. And inside here we have the title, okay, we have the body, but also we have the footer. Now, in order to call the base model, we are going to copy that again, and we are going to head into the categories model, and I'm pass everything in here. I'm gonna remove that and all of that here. And what I'm going to do here, I'm pass here the base model. Okay, this is the base model, and I'm copy that and pass here. And our base model has here some slots here, and this is the slot. A slot is like an outlet, is where we're gonna inject our HTML, okay, inside of the model. And we have here the title, the body, and the footer. Now, in order to inject the HTML tag inside the title slot, we are going to head into the category model, and here we're gonna pass here the template tag, and then we're gonna pass here the pound sign like this, and here we're gonna pass here the name of the slot, which is the title. Okay, and if we head into the base model, we have here the title, the body, and the footer. You can see we have here 3 slots, and inside of the category model, we're gonna pass the title, and here I can pass here even an H1. I say category for the title, and pass a create category for title. I'm gonna copy that, and in here we're gonna pass here the input and pass the body, and we have here the footer. For the footer, we're gonna pass here buttons. Okay, we're gonna pass it here. And we have here create, but also we're gonna have here close the model. We're gonna use that one to close the model. And here I'm gonna remove that. And for the value, right now I'm passing false. Okay, like this. And here we're going to pass here the base input. I'm passing the base input. I'm going to remove that here. Base input, and we're gonna pass here v model. And we're gonna pass here the category inputs, that name like this. And here we're gonna pass to the create category for the title slot here. I'm just pass here an H1, or we're gonna put in the title, and I'm pass it in here. And we're gonna pass here a class of text. Yeah, we're gonna pass here Excel for increasing the size of the text here. And for the margin bottom, pass here 4 like this. And we're gonna pass also the base model. You can see actually the base model has a prop here, which is the show. We're gonna pass it here, and here we're gonna pass it the show prop. Yeah, show prop is equal to show like this. And now we're going to head into the categories page, where we're gonna call the model. Okay, and let's head into the categories, and in here we're gonna pass that here. Okay, like this. And we're gonna pass here we are going to get rid of the label here, and you can see passing the property is equal to show. And you can see actually we show right here the model, and we have here the title, and here's the inputs. And in the footer, we have the close button, but also the create button. Now here I'm gonna pass to the base BTN another prop, which is the color. We need to change here this color. Let's say for the action button, let's say for create, we're gonna need the blue sky color, but for the close button, we are going to remove the BG color here. We're gonna remove the background color. And I'm going to head into the base button, and in here I'm pass here CSS color. Okay, yeah, we can just pass here the color as a property. And what I'm going to do, I'm gonna copy this CSS, all of that here, and then I'm gonna create a constant here. I'm gonna say this is the default color. Yeah, I'm passing this is the primary color. Primary color is equal to this CSS, and here I'm going to pass here the primary. Okay, we're gonna pass here vbound, and then I'm passing primary primary, but also we're gonna have here the default color. Yeah, we're gonna have a secondary color. Okay, and here I'm gonna copy that. We're gonna use the CSS for the secondary color. Okay, I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna pass it here. I'm passing cons secondary, okay, is equal to this, and we are going to check here if the class here is equal to primary. We're gonna return here primary. Yeah, let's say primary like this is equal to primary. We are going to return here primary color, else we're gonna return secondary color. Okay, I'm gonna just pass here a class here, guys. Instead of passing here class, I'm gonna just pass here. Yeah, I'm going to just pass here class like this, and here we're gonna pass here props.class. Okay, and we're going to head into the category model. We're gonna pass here this, and we're gonna pass here the class is equal to primary. Yeah, I'm gonna pass here for the clause. We're gonna say this is gonna be a secondary color, and we have here the base for the create button. We're gonna pass it primary. Now let's see what we got here. Yeah, you can see we have here two buttons. Here you can see actually our model doesn't look beautiful, and you can see in Nuxt by default when we try to render a given page, they render it on the server but also on the clients. Now for the model here, I'm gonna render it only on the client. Now to render a component only on the client, we're gonna use the client only component. Now let's go back into the categories page. And here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass here a component, which is the client only component, and is where we're going to put in the model so that we're going to have it right here. Okay. And you can see, actually, if I refresh the page, we are going to render the model without any issue. Okay. You're going to see, we're going to render it. Yeah, you can see actually render the model. And now we're going to add here view validate because we already installed the package. Now we're going to use it. And here, in order to use the view validate package, we're going to need these lines here. We are going to cut them, and we're going to put it into the category model and pass at the top here. Okay. Yeah, we're going to pass. Yeah, I'm going to pass that here. And we are going to go back in here. We're going to copy something, and we have a composable here, which is the use validate. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to create a constant and pass it here is equal to use view validate. Okay, and here we are going to continue, and I'm going to scroll down again, and here we are going to create a rules object where we're going to put in all inputs that we need to validate. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to pass it here. Okay, and in our case, we're going to validate only here. We are going to need here the name here and pass it the name. Okay, and I'm going to remove the rest here. Okay, and we're going to continue. Now, in order to, now we are going to pass here. You can see we already imported the use validate function. We're going to pass the rules, but also the state. The state represents the inputs. And here, I'm going to just copy at bottom here, and we're going to pass it the rules, and we're going to pass here the state, which is the category input. Okay, like this. Yeah. And now we're going to create another function here and pass here. Yeah, I'm passing a sync function that I'm passing submit input. Okay, and we are going to pass here result, and I'm passing here a wait, and I just pass here a wait because we are going to get access. We're gonna use here a promise that validate. Okay, the validate function returns the promise. You can see we have here boolean, and if the value is equal to false, okay, we are going to return any fine and pass here return any fine like this. Okay, and else we're gonna make an HTTP request to the server. Okay, submit input. I'm gonna copy that, and we're gonna pass it to the base btn right here and pass in a click event. We are going to call that here. Okay, and you can see in order to add the validation on the input, we're going to copy that code here, and that's where we're gonna that's what we're gonna pass it to the body here. And in here you can see we pass here the input, and we wrap it into this div tag in order to display the validation error. Okay, now I'm going to create a component here. I'm gonna create a component in order to make this file clean. We are going to head into the base here and pass a form header. This is another component of view. And in here, we're gonna pass here, first of all, we need to pass here the template and pass here the template here. Yeah, I'm paste the code and let me copy something in here like this. And I'm passing to the form header component here. And we're gonna copy that. We're gonna pass into the template here, guys, okay? And in here, actually, you can see we have here an array. I'm gonna do this, remove that, and I'm gonna define here a props headers, okay? And the headers right here is an array. You can see we pass here class that $first name. Yeah, you can see that headers that length, okay? And what I'm going to do here, I'm gonna pass here this array, okay? And here I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna simply pass here the array like this, okay? And then I'm gonna remove that here, okay? Headers that length, and we are going to pass here the slot. Yeah, is where we're gonna pass here the input, the slot here, okay? And we are going to iterate through the array. And we pass here v4 header of headers, which is an array, and we pass the header $UID, pass here the header ID, but also display here the message. Now for the class here, and pass the text red here, and pass here 900 and fence semi-bold, okay, like this. Now let's head into the category model, and in here we should pass here the value first. We forgot to pass here that value, okay? And here we are going to pass here this. We are going to pass here the form header, okay? Form header. Yeah, this is the component. And then we are going to copy the base input. We're going to pass into the form header, and we're going to pass here the headers array headers. Yeah, like this is equal to $. We're going to pass here $.name.headers. The name property is located into the rules object. You can see this the name here, and that's what we pass here. But also I'm passing the placeholder property, placeholder, and we're gonna pass here inter category, okay, like this. And here we are going to reset the validation and pass here comments, make HTTP rec here, and after that we're gonna reset the validation and pass here pass v.value that resets, okay? If the validation pass, we're gonna reset we are going to clear out the error, okay? The errors array, okay, like this. And now let's check this. We are going to move in here, and we're gonna refresh the page and see what we're gonna get here, guys. And yeah, you can see if I click here, you can see value is required. And if I pass something and click here again, we are going to reset that input, okay? Yeah, we should reset that input. Now I'm gonna pass here console log, because we need to see what we are getting when we call the submit function. We are going to here. Now I'm gonna click here create. You can see we got here false. Let me pass here the value. You can see we got here false. And it means we don't pass the category inputs, the data. Now we are going to head into the base inputs, and since in here we have an error, we have an issue in here. Yeah, we pass here the model value. Yeah, we pass here model value for the event updates model value. We should pass here model. Yeah, with an A instead of with an A. Okay, I'm gonna remove that. This is a typo. And let's go back in here and see what we're gonna get here and pass here something. You can see actually it works. We got here true, okay? And now we are going to start interacting with the server, because we already created all our endpoints, and we are going to use Pinia here, guys. And Pinia is a state management library that allows to manage the state inside of a view app. And if you doesn't know what is Pinia, go check it out. This video I teach everything you need to know about Pinia, guys. And now we are going to copy this command in order to install Pinia. And once you tap this, they're gonna add Pinia module into the modules array. And we are going to scroll down again in here. we are going to copy also this object and pass it to, I'm going to pass it into the Nuxt.config.ts. We're going to pass it in here. And I'm not remove that here. And let me explain why I pass here this object. Okay, you can see we got the stores folder here. Let me see. We are going to have here the stores folder. Okay, now let's create the stores folder. Actually, we don't have it here. I'm not pass here. We're gonna create a stores folder at the root of our project. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pass it here at the roots. Okay, we're gonna pass the stores, and let's say I pass here the category store. We're gonna pass the category store like this. Yeah, category store. Yeah, like this. That is, and in here, guys, when we're gonna try to call this Pinion store, let me pass in first the boilerplate. I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm passing in here. Okay, this is the category store, and here, if we go back in here and I remove this, and we are trying to call the category store into the category model. Let's say in here we're gonna call it like this and pass here category store is equal. We're gonna pass category store. Okay, like this is equal to use category store like this, and you can see. In this way, we are not going to get an error, okay? By default, they're gonna auto import everything at the root of the source folder, okay? But what if I pass here category? I want to put the category store inside a category folder, and if we don't have that line here, we are going to get an error, okay? That's why I pass here this, yeah, and this allows to auto import all Pinion stores located into subfolders. Okay, I think you understand. And now I'm gonna pass here another folder. Let's say we're gonna pass the admin. If we have here an admin store, we're gonna put it into the admin folder. Okay, this is how we're gonna work, guys. Now we're going to get into the category store. We're gonna put in some logic. First of all, I'm passing the inputs. We are going to go back in here, and we already defined here an input. I'm gonna copy it and pass it here, okay? And we're gonna pass it into the return statement, and I'm gonna pass here so the ID, and for the ID we're gonna pass here now as default value. Yeah, now, okay? And we're gonna use the ID to update a given category. Okay, I'm passing now our property. We're gonna name it edit, and default value is gonna be false. We're gonna pass the const loading, and pass. Let's say we're gonna pass here, yeah. And here I'm gonna pass here function. We are going to pass here function, a sync function, and we're gonna name it create or updates. And let me zoom a little bit. And instead of it, we are going to pass in a function and pass here an endpoint const, yeah, random pass here loading that value is equal to true. And here we're gonna pass here, let me define here constant and pass here const endpoints like this, and we're gonna pass here edit that value. If edit is equal to true, we are going to update here. We're gonna pass an endpoint, okay, and it means we are going to return the path here, API / we're going to get into, yeah, you can see we have this folder, we have API, and we're gonna pass here / admin, okay, let me pass here admin / we're going to pass here categories / we're gonna pass the name of the endpoint that we need to hit, which is the create, which is the update, okay. And here I'm pass here updates. Yeah, we're gonna pass update. Else we are going to pass here create. I'm gonna copy that, and that's all. I'm gonna pass it here. We're gonna pass here create. Okay, like this. And now we are going to pass here const results and is equal to. I'm pass here await. Yeah, I'm pass here await, and here I'm pass here fetch. And we're gonna pass here the endpoints, but also we're gonna pass here the object is second parameter. We're gonna pass in the methods. The methods here, method is equal to post, and here I'm pass here the body. For the body, we're gonna pass here JSON that stringify, and we're gonna pass here the category input that value like this, okay. And yeah, I'm gonna try and here I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna wrap it into try catch. okay, and pass it here. In case we got an error, we're gonna console.error, okay, and pass error like this. Right now, we're gonna pass the error, okay, and here, once we finish processing the request, we're gonna modify the value of loading. You're gonna pass here that value, okay, is equal to false. And in case we got an error, we're gonna modify to the value here, and yeah, like this. And here we're going to pass here, we're going to call a function success and pass here console.log. We're going to pass the results that message, okay. Now I'm going to copy that function, okay. We are going to pass it in here, create, okay. And I'm going to create here another function in order to fetch data from the server. And we are going to pass here function and pass a sync fetch here, sync fetch, and pass a fetch categories like this. And in here, guys, we are going to pass here I'm gonna copy that. Yeah, we are going to, I'm gonna simply pass here loading. We are going to create here another loading cons and pass here fetch loading, okay, is ref is equal to false, okay. I'm passing this, and this one here I'm pass here like save and pass here save loading, okay. Yeah, okay, that I'm passed here, okay. And now we're going to change the value of this fetch loading and copy it. We're gonna pass it here. We're gonna start making an NTP request. We're gonna pass it false. Yeah, we're gonna pass it true and then true, okay. We are going to cut that and pass it try catch again, and we're gonna pass you true. Here we're gonna pass false in case we got an error, and here I'm pass here false when we finish processing this request. And we're gonna pass data, and I'm passing await. We are going to use fetch composable so that we are not going to make multiple requests to the server. And we're gonna pass here the endpoint API / and admin / categories / get here. This is the endpoint. And here I'm going to pass here the data. Let's create here property cons server data, okay. And default, we're gonna assign it an empty object, okay. I'm gonna copy that. We are going to pass here this server data, that value is equal to data like this, okay. And then I'm gonna copy that and pass it here, okay, like this. We finish in here, and once we pass the data, we need to call it, okay. Now we are going to create here another function in order to show the model, okay. We're gonna pass here first a reactive property called show model, okay. And default value, we're gonna pass a false, okay. And we're gonna pass a function toggle model function and pass it toggle model, okay, like this. We're gonna pass a show model that value is different from show model that value, okay, like this. If the value is equal to true, we are going to modify, we're gonna pass it. If the value is equal to true, we're going to modify it to false, and so on, okay. And we're gonna copy that, we're gonna pass it in here, okay, like this. Yeah, and now we're going to head into the category model, and we have the category model in here, okay. Right now, let me pass here the show model property, show model like this. In here, we are going to pass here this and property, pass here cons. In here, we're gonna extract the category inputs. We're gonna copy it in here, and we're gonna use the store to ref a function to preserve reactivity. Store to refs, okay. And we're gonna pass here this, okay, and pass it here, okay, like this. And like this, we are going to preserve reactivity, okay. If we don't pass it the store to ref, we don't pass the function in here, we're gonna use reactivity, and like this, we got it. And to get access to the function and pass here, if the validation pass, we're gonna make an HTTP request to the server and pass here await, and then we're gonna pass a category, we're gonna pass a create or update, okay. Let me copy the function create or update and copy that here. Yeah, we're gonna pass it here, okay, like this. And yeah, we just finished. And also we should modify here the value. When we finish making an HTTP request to the server, we're going to modify the value of the edit here. I'm gonna pass it here, edit is equal to false. You're gonna understand why I pass here edit is equal to false later. Now we need to pop up the model. We are going to head into the category page here, pass the categories, okay? And in here we have the base button here, base button. And yeah, in here I'm going to copy something. Let's go back into the category model here, and we're gonna copy that here. And yeah, I can just pass here show model. We have the appropriate. We can just pass it in here and pass it in here, and we are going to remove that here. Okay, we're gonna pass that here, and in the category page we're gonna pass in this. Yeah, we're gonna pass in this Pineal store. Okay, and pass it here, and in here we're gonna have the access to the toggle model function. You can see this is the button here, okay, and I'm gonna pass it on click event. We are going to pass here category store, and we're gonna pass here toggle model, okay, toggle model, and we're gonna show the model like this, and everything is okay in here. And I'm passing class of HScreen here, HScreen, and I'm gonna copy that and pass it into a div here. Let me copy that and pass it here. We're gonna pass this is gonna be a div, and we're gonna pass it a class of flex like this, and then pass it justify end here. Okay, because we are going to push the button at the right. Okay, like this, and then I'm gonna copy the button. We're gonna put it in here inside of the div. Okay. And then we're gonna see what we're gonna get here. Okay, now we're going to head into the browser, and I'm gonna refresh the page here. We're gonna have here the button here at the right. Okay, and actually we are going to pass here another class, like we're gonna pass it the text of Excel, and margin bottom pass it even 4 like this. And see, yeah, use category store is not defined. We got an error here. Use category store is not defined. We are going to check in here. Let's check here category store like this. Yeah, use category store, and yeah, I'm pass here category store. Yeah, like this. And in order to get rid of the error, we are going to rerun our server here. I'm tap here npm run dev again, so that we're gonna load everything again. And okay, I'm gonna click here. You can see that we just pop up the model, and now I'm gonna fix that here, the start here, and also I'm gonna add another function to the close button here. You can see actually if we click here on the close, we don't close it. We're gonna pass it another function. And what I'm going to do first, I'm gonna get into the category model, okay, and we're gonna start in here. I'm gonna copy that, and we're gonna pass here on click event. We are going to pass here, we're gonna call the toggle model function, okay, and I'm gonna copy that class. We are going to get into the categories page, and we're gonna pass it in here. We are going to pass it, yeah, we have here the button, and pass it here, and this I'm going to copy that here and pass it in here too. Okay, now let's see what we got here. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look beautiful, and you can see pass here flex justify between and pass here justify between like this, and see what we're gonna get here. Yeah, and here I'm going to pass a flex justify between, and here I'm pass here margin bottom and pass here 4. Okay, and yeah, let's see what we got here. We're gonna refresh the page, and we're gonna have here this space. Okay, that's beautiful, guys. Now we're going to click here again. You can see pop up the model, and we've passed here the name of a category and pass here JavaScript. Okay, and then I'm gonna click create here. We're going to make an HTTP request to the server, but we forgot again to pass here the loading reactive property. Yeah, I'm go back into the category model, and we're gonna pass here to for the loading. We are going to extract here the save loading. Okay, we have the property. We are going to pass it to the bar end here. Okay, like this. Okay, and now we're gonna try it again. I'm going to get into the console, and in here I'm trying to create a category here, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna close that, and then I'll click here, create, and actually you can see we are making an HTTP request to the server. Okay, failed to create category. You can see actually we got an error, and we got an error. Okay, this is the server error. And we are going to return also we're going to pass the save loading. We're going to pass it to the return statement. I'm going to extract it here, and we're going to pass it in here to the return statement. Okay, and now we're going to try to create a category here, and I'm pass here Penia as a category, and then I'm going to click here save. Okay, I'm going to try to see. Yeah, you can see actually we created a category. And guys, if you got an error, you're gonna do this. You're gonna get into the schema folder. Yeah, we have the schema folder here. If you got an error, you're gonna delete the migrations folder, and then you're gonna tap this command. You're gonna move here. You're gonna tap npx prisma generate dev. Yeah, you're gonna tap npx prisma migrate dev. Okay, you're gonna generate the migrations again if you got an error. Okay, do that. And here we are going to install another package in order to display here the save error message. We are going to use the view-free Toastify library. You're going to tap this command in order to install it. And I'm going to get into the utils folder. You can see we have the Toast folder. I've already put it in here. And we pass here, we import here the Toast function, okay, from view Toastify. And we invoke the error function, but also the success function, okay. And that's what they said in here. And you can see they basically import here the toast property, and then we can just pass it here directly. We can just pass it the message, or we can do toast.error, okay, in order to get access to this function. Okay, guys, pretty simple. Okay, now we are going to use these two functions inside of the category store. We are going to use the success message. We are going to head into the category store here, guys, and yeah, this is the category store here. We are going to pass it here. Okay, I'm gonna remove that, and we're gonna pass a success message, and here we're gonna pass here this one here. I'm gonna cap this show server error function, and I'm gonna pass it in here. Okay, we're gonna pass here, guys, that message, and you can see actually got an error here. And this is a typing error, and I'm gonna accept the error as an error. Okay, and now we're gonna try this again and see what we're gonna get. And here we're gonna pass now here for the course, we're gonna pass here jQuery, okay, for the course. And for the category, we're gonna pass it jQuery, and I'm gonna click here create, and let's see what we're gonna get here. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, actually you don't display here the message, and here I'm gonna refresh the page here. And also I'm gonna add here something. When we just finish creating the category, we're gonna pass here category that value. We're gonna initialize the inputs like this. And also, yeah, we import the show server error function, but also the success function. And now we're gonna try it again. And for the category model like this, we are going to pass here this function in order to hide the model. We have here, yeah, I'm going to cap here. You can see we are going to pass here for this, yeah, we have here category that's tag model, okay, and we're gonna close the model. Now let me open it. Okay, we can close it, and if you pass here now request, like, let me pass it TypeScript and see if you're going to display this message. Okay, I'll click here, and you can see category created successfully. Yeah, it works. And now what I'm going to do, we are going to hit these endpoints here in order to get a list of categories, and we are going to head into the category store again. You can see actually we already created the fetch category function, and what we need to do, we need to call it into the categories page, pass categories, and we're gonna pass it. We're gonna pass it a weight, and then we are going to pass you the function like this, okay, that fetch categories. Okay, pretty simple, guys. And now we are going to, you can see now we're going to extract the save data function. Now let's go back in here, category store. You can see we have here a property save data, and we are going to use it. Okay, we have it here. We're going to pass it in here to save data, and I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to go back in here, and we are going to extract it here, guys. And I'm pass it here the data and see which kind of data we got from the save. Okay, now let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna reduce the zoom. Okay, we got an error. Cannot stringify a function, and we are going to fix that. Let me head into the category store here. We are going to fix here something. Yeah, we should extract here the data, and we're gonna pass the data that value is any, because we're gonna have a typing error. And that's why pass here is any. And you can see if we don't pass here is any, we're gonna have a typing error. And here, what I'm going to do now, let's see what we got here. Let's refresh the page. Okay, and you can see actually got data, and we have here the category, and I'm passing categories because we need to pass. You got an array of categories. Yeah. We are going to head into the get.ts, and here we're going to pass here categories like this, and that's what we're going to pass here. And now we are going to have here an array of categories. Now, in order to get access to it, we are going to head into the category page, and we're going to pass here. Yeah, we are going to copy the saver data, and that's what we're going to pass to the categories prop here. Okay. And so we are going to have here an array of categories. Okay, you can see we have here JavaScript, Python, Pinia, jQuery, and TypeScript. Now we're going to pass here the button in order to edit the category. We are going to move to heroicons.com and pass hero icons. And I'm going to look here for an icon, pass here edit, and I'm going to pick here outline. Okay, I'm going to pick this button here and copy it. And we are going to head into the component folder. We're going to pass here icons. And here we are going to have here something. Yeah, I'm going to move here. We're going to have here something. I'm going to refresh the page again here. And if we head into the category table, you can see actually got here the button. And we have the edit icon here. Okay, and now we are going to have it right here. Okay, and now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to type npm run dev again, so that we're gonna load that icon npm run dev. And now what I'm going to do, meanwhile, we are going to go back into the category page, and in here I'm gonna create another function here. We are going to name it this. We are going to copy that, which is the edit category, and the edit category passes an object, which is the category. And what I'm going to do, we are going to pass a function edit category and pass a category, and here I'm going to pass that data to that input here. We're going to pass it here, that value is equal to the category, and we are going to modify the value of the edit property. And here I'm pass edit, and the value is equal to true. Yeah, like this. And yeah, edit. And then we are going to toggle the model again. We are going to pass here show model. We are going to modify here the value is equal to true, like this. Okay. And now let's see what we got here. Yeah, right now, yeah, the server finished running. Okay. Now we're gonna wait a bit and see what we're gonna get and see what we're gonna have here. The button, and if I click here, we should pop up the model, and I'm gonna call that function. We are going to pass it to the table here. Yeah, I'm pass here that event, okay, edit category. And if I click on the button here, we're gonna pop up the model, okay. Yeah, you can see actually you don't pop up the model, and maybe we are going to, let's check here. Yeah, we don't pass it to the return statements in here, guys. We don't pass it in here. That's why we got this error. And we're going to pass the edit. And also we are going to head into the category model. We're going to pass it something like you can see for the label here. I'm going to modify the name here. Yeah, I'm passing edit again. And here we're going to check if the value is equal to true. We are going to pass the update. Else, we're going to pass the create like this. Okay. And let's extract it here from here and pass the edit like this. And I think everything is okay now. Let's try this again. Now let's click here, edit. And yeah, I'm going to click here, edit. We're going to edit the last category here. And JavaScript, we're going to click here, update. Yeah, it works. Now let me refresh again. And we're going to try it again to see what we're going to get here. Okay. And I'm going to click here for the Python. I'm trying to add here something, a W, and click update. And you can see in here, guys, we got an error. Value is required. And maybe we don't pass to the use view validates composable data. Now let's check here. We should pass here. Yeah. And you can see in here, we should pass there the states instead of the objects. You can see when we pass the category inputs, that's value, we pass you an object. I'm going to remove that. We're going to pass you the state, which is this reactive property. Okay. And here, now if we try it again here, we are going to update here. Yeah, we're going to update here. You're going to see we're going to update. We're going to have a message that we just updated the category. Okay. And I'm going to do another thing inside of the category store. And here I'm past this category, that's value. When we call the function toggle model, we're going to initialize the inputs and we're going to change the value of the edit reactive property to false. And once we modify a store here, guys, okay, if I click here, I close here, I click here, I'm trying to click here, you can see in here, in order to apply these changes automatically, we need to refresh the page. Okay, now I'm going to add here another line, which is the accept auto module replacement. We're going to pass it into the category store. We're going to pass it at the top here. Okay, yeah, I'm pass it here. And in order to get auto module, in order to update our Pinner store immediately, without refreshing the browser, we are going to copy the line and we're going to pass it at the bottom here. And I'm going to pass here the name of the Pinner store, which is the use category store. We're going to copy that and we're going to pass it here. Okay. And once we create, we are going to call also the function await here and then pass here fetch categories. Okay. Like this. And we just finish. And now let's check for the last time. Now I'm going to refresh here because we just add this line. Okay. We just add this line. This line allows to see modification of a property inside of the Pinner store without refreshing the page. And now let me check here. Okay, I'm pass here. I'm gonna modify here. We have a Python with www. I'm gonna remove that and I'm click here update. And yeah, you can see Python. We just update it. And I'm going to create another category, Laravel, okay? And I'm click here again, create. Alright guys, now we're going to work on the courses endpoints. You can see this is the UI structure of the courses page. And in here, we have a model. We're going to create a model for the page. And at the bottom, we have the courses table. We're going to display all created courses. And inside of the model here, the course model, you can see we have the title input, the category inputs. Once we provide the title and category, we're going to click on the button save here, and they're going to redirect us on the pages here in order to edit a course. And on the page here, we're going to have the possibility to provide more details about a particular course, like the title, we can edit it, the price, descriptions of the course, and at the right, we're going to have the another model that we're going to use in order to add chapters for the course. And we're going to pass it the title. And we're going to upload a video for a chapter that we're going to create. Okay. And at the bottom here, we have an image and we're going to use that image in order to represent a given course. Okay. And Elena can see the course here and the image, okay? And here we have the image. Let me pass here. Yeah, we can pass here. This is the image, okay? And once the learner click here, they're going to redirect him on the page where he can have access. He can see all details about a particular course, okay? And the image right here, we are going to upload it via this section here, okay? And now we're going to head into the Prisma schema. And in here, we're going to create the course model. And we have here the ID, title, category ID, user ID, okay? The user create a course, the slag, the price. The price is going to be optional, and description, the image URL. And here I'm passing courses, and I'm passing an array of course, okay? Like this. And we're going to create also the chapter model. We're going to have here the ID, the title, and the course ID, okay? And here we pass it the slag and the video URL, okay? And guys, if you notice right here, where we got the foreign key, like the category ID, this is a foreign key. This is the foreign key, okay? And S is the foreign key. We need to pass here another type, db.uuid. If you don't pass this, you're gonna get an error when you're gonna try to migrate your models, okay? And yeah, that's all from here. Now we're gonna type these commands. Here we are going to type here these commands in order to generate the migration. npx prisma, pass it prisma migrate, okay? And we're gonna generate the migration. Then tap inner, okay? Yeah, like this. Okay, we're gonna wait a bit. And meanwhile, guys, we are going to head into the server folder. You can see we have here admin, okay? I'm gonna create here another folder and name it courses. And instead of the courses, we're gonna pass here the endpoints, like, yeah, we're gonna pass here get courses. Okay, yeah, let me remove that here and see here and pass here immediately. Yeah, it's better to pass here the folder because we're gonna have here another folder like dashboard. We're gonna put in all endpoints related to dashboard and pass here courses. Okay, and here and pass here. Yeah, we're gonna let me pass here course. Yeah, I'm gonna rename it course like this. And then we're gonna pass here create, okay, the tiers. And I'm gonna copy content inside the category store. I'm gonna copy everything in here. Yeah, we are working into the stores folder, guys. Okay, we need to get into the server folder. Okay, this is the server folder. I'm pass here courses like this. Yeah, courses. This is the folder. Yeah, I'm pass here courses. Okay, and it seems we already created here. Yeah, we have it here and pass it create the TS. And let's copy content into the category. They create a TS for the category, and I'm put it into the create here. And we're gonna create also another folder inside the courses, which is the modules folder. Yeah, I'm gonna name it modules. And inside of it, we're gonna pass in like a function to create a slag here. And here I got the function here, generate slag. And you're gonna tap npm install slagify, okay? Okay, and pass here generate slag, okay? That ts, okay? Yeah, I'm not going to pass it in here. Let me pass it into the URLs folder. And here I'm pass here generate. Yeah, I'm pass it generate slag, okay, ts, and so we're gonna pass it in here. And in order to get the slagify module, you're gonna tap npm install slagify, okay, guys. And once you tap this command, you're gonna get it. And in order to use it, I just pass here I just call the slagify function. You can see you pass here the string var is a parameter that we pass to the slagify function, and I generate a random number here. And then I concatenate it with the generated slag, okay? And then we're gonna return that slag here. Okay, now we're going to head into the module, the courses folder. You can see we have it here. We're going to create the validate course inputs. Okay, and pass here validate course inputs. Okay, the TS. And so we're going to pass in the first schema, and we're going to import in here Zod, import Z from Zod. Okay, from Zod, we're going to pass here Zod like this. And you can see create course schema. And we're going to use that schema to create a course. And we're going to need the title, the category ID, and the user ID. And the title is required. And here we have here some validation message that we're going to return back to the user. If he provides something, if he provides a title which is invalid, we're going to return him this message, okay? And we're going to create here another schema for updates here. We're gonna pass here and pass here update course schema, okay? And for the course, we're gonna pass the title, the course, the category ID, the user ID, and we're gonna pass here to the price here, okay? And here I'm gonna copy that here, and we're gonna pass here the price, but also we're gonna pass here the description. Okay, now if we head into the Prisma schema, pass here, let me move into the Prisma schema, and you can see in here these are the fields that we're gonna require. We're gonna create a course. Now to update a course, we're gonna send the price, and the descriptions. Okay, I'm gonna copy this, and we're gonna pass it in here. Okay, these are the two fields that we're gonna add here. And for the price, I pass here the description first here, and here I'm gonna copy that again, and we're gonna pass here the price. Yeah, I'm passing the price. And for the price, we're gonna say the type should be a number. Okay, like this, and we're gonna say price is required, must be, okay, must be a number, must be a number. And here I'm gonna remove the min and max function. Okay, and we have also the description. For the course description, we're gonna pass here description is required, and here we're gonna pass the min and max characters. We can pass here for the min, we can pass even 200, and max character we're gonna pass even 500. Okay, and then I'm copy that, we're gonna pass it here. Okay, 5 and here 200, and that's okay for now. Now we are going to head into the creator tiers, and in here we are going to import in here the create course schema. Pass here create course, and pass here create course schema. Okay, and we're gonna pass here some inputs. Yeah, we're gonna pass here the title, category ID, and user ID. And here I'm passing the title, category ID, and we're gonna pass it the user ID. And here I'm gonna copy this field, we're gonna pass it in here. Okay, and we're gonna return an array which contains errors, okay, for each input. And for the title, we are not going to check for unique value. I'm going to remove this, and we're gonna pass here the course here. Let me check here. I'm gonna pass the course. Okay, and let me go back into the Prisma scheme and see what we should pass here the course. Okay, and actually you can see we got an error, and this is because we haven't yet already generated the Prisma clients. Okay, and after that we're gonna tap a command to generate the Prisma clients. Okay, and then we're gonna remove the error, and here we're gonna pass here the title. Okay, and here I'm passing the title, and I'm gonna copy that again, and we're gonna pass here the category ID. Yeah, I'm passing here category ID, and we're gonna pass it here. And also you can see in here on the course model, we have here the flag. We're gonna pass to here, and yeah, I'm pass here. Yeah, we're gonna pass here first the user ID. Okay, user ID, and we're gonna pass it the flag, and we have a function generate flag here. I'm gonna call it, and we're gonna pass here the title. Okay, and I can just copy that and then here I'm pass here a constant const slag is equal to generate slag, and that's what we're gonna pass in here. And we just finished, and we are going to return a message to the user, course created successfully. Okay, this is the message, successfully. Okay, and we're gonna pass here course. Okay, copy that, and we're gonna return it, the created course object. Okay, and here we're gonna pass failed to create course. Okay, course. Okay, and yeah, like this. Okay, we are done in here, and now we're gonna create another endpoint to update the course, and we are going to come here and we're gonna pass here update ts, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna copy everything in here, and then we're gonna pass into the update ts endpoints, and we're gonna modify here things, and we're going to remove, first of all, we're gonna import the update course schema, pass the update course schema, and you can pass the title, category id, user id. And for the user ID here, we're gonna remove it, because for the user ID right here is the user created the course. It's gonna be the admin, okay? And I'm gonna remove it, but we're gonna pass here the price, and we can pass here the description of the course, okay? Okay, like this, and we're gonna copy this input. We're gonna pass it to the save parse function, okay? And then we are going to move here for the slag here. We are going to pass here update, and we're going to pass here also the ID of the course that we want to update, and some pass it here too. You can see if we head into the update course schema, you can see that actually we should pass here the ID. Yeah, we don't pass here the ID. I'm going to cap that, and we're going to pass it here to ID. And we're gonna say ID is required. Okay, yeah, like this. And here we're gonna pass here where clause, where, pass here where, and here we're gonna pass the ID is equal to ID, and then we're gonna pass data, and you can see we're gonna get rid of the user ID, and I'm pass here the price here. Yeah, let me check here the price column where we pass here. You can see the price should be a number. Let me check again here. Yeah, we are going to head into the Prisma schema again. And for the price should be, and here the price should be a number. We're going to modify that. And I'm going to pass this here. And price should be a decimal. And here we're going to say here, when we create a course, we're going to say this column can be optional. Okay. Yeah, like this. And also, we're going to go back in here inside the update tiers. In here, we're going to pass here, we already pass here the price, the category ID, and here, let me check. Okay, we're going to pass here the description. Okay, description, and then we're going to pass here the slag too. Okay, that's okay. And yeah, everything is okay. Let me check in here again. Okay, we pass here the ID, the title, the price, the description, the category ID, and the user ID. Okay, and for the user ID, I'm gonna remove it because we are not going to update that column. Okay, and yeah. Also, I should pass here positive because the price can be -1. -1 is a number, and here I'm pass here a little message and say something like price should be. Yeah, price should be greater than 0. Okay, greater than 0. Okay, like this. And we're gonna try this. Okay, everything is okay in here. And you can see actually we got here some typing errors because we haven't already generated the Prisma client. Now, in order to generate it, we're gonna tap this command npm run dev, and also here we should run this npx prisma migrate. Okay, and then tap inner, and okay, they're gonna generate the migration. Okay, it doesn't work. npx prisma migrates dev. Okay, like this. And here you can see when we tap npm run dev, here they generate the Prisma clients. You can see generating Prisma clients, and you can see actually this error should disappear, okay, because we already generate the Prisma clients. And in here we are going to, you can see right now we are generating migrations, and once done we're gonna have here, our migration is gonna be updated. We're gonna have here new tables, okay. And now we're going to continue. We are going to create also another endpoint to return a list of created courses. And you can see right now we got updates here. Yeah, for the updates, we got description here. Yeah, we got it here. But we have here an error, okay? Non-property does not exist in the type. Okay, you can see for the course right here, we got an error. We're gonna check that here. You can see past description, and I'm gonna head into the Prisma scheme again, and I'm gonna check here a little bit for the courses. And guys, you can see, yeah, that actually for the courses, we don't have here the description. That's why we got this error. And for the description, I'm gonna add it here, okay. Now we are going to create also another endpoint to return a list of created courses, and here we can pass it just that, yeah, get the TS, and then we're gonna return our created courses. Now the first thing we're gonna get into the categories. We have the get TS. I'm gonna copy everything in here and pass into the get TS, and in here we are going to pass here, we are going to request here something like, and here I'm passing the query, and here we're gonna pass a get query function, get query like this, and we're gonna pass in the events, and we're gonna pass here, we're gonna request here for the page, and we're going to pass the parse int like this, and we're gonna pass a query that page is string here is string, and we're gonna say this, if the page is undefined, we're gonna return here 1, okay, for the page. And here we're gonna create also the limit here. For the limit, we're gonna pass here 10, okay? Because we're gonna handle pagination for these endpoints. And here I'm passing here the limit, okay? And now I'm gonna create here a function course. We're gonna extract the courses, but also we're gonna extract also the total courses. So yeah, I'm passing total. Total is equal to a weight here, and then pass a parameter data. And I just pass a parameter data because we're gonna run a 2 parameters in parallel. And the first one, we are going to copy that here, and I'm passing here, okay, and I'm gonna remove here weights. And then instead of the find many function, we're gonna pass in a where clause, because we're gonna look for we are going to search equals by title if the search is not undefined, and I'm passing here, we're gonna pass here where, and where search, we're gonna check if search is not undefined. We are going to pass here the title, okay, and then we're gonna pass here mode. Yeah, I'm passing here first. We're gonna pass here contains here. Contains like this property, and then we're gonna pass here the search constant, and we're going to pass here mode insensitive. Yeah, I'm passing mode here. Mode is equal to insensitive, because for the search here the value can be in uppercase or lowercase, and if the search is undefined, we're gonna return here an empty object. And at the bottom here, we're gonna pass the skip property, and we're gonna take here, and we're gonna pass the skip property and limit. Now let me explain. And you can see at the first time when we make an HTTP request to this endpoint, we're gonna do page -1 here. You can see the actual page, the default value should be 1 here, and we're gonna do 1 - 1 is equal to 0, and here we are going to do times limit. The limit value is equal to 10, and then we're gonna get here 0. It means we are going to skip here 0 rows, and so we're gonna take here 10. We're gonna take here 10 rows, okay? Now at the second time, we are going to pass here for the page. The value of the page is gonna be 2. We're gonna do 2 - 1, we're gonna get here 1, and 1 times 10, we're gonna get here 10. It means we're gonna skip here 10 rows, and we're gonna take 10 and so on. I think you get the idea. Okay, it's pretty simple, guys. And at the bottom here, I'm gonna copy that, and in order to pass here for the total, in order to get the value of the total, we're gonna pass here in that, and then I'm passing count. Okay, and I'm gonna remove that here. Okay, that's cool. Now we're going to return here an array of courses. Okay, and we're gonna pass here metadata, okay, and it's gonna be an object. The total rows into the courses table, but also the page, the limit, and total pages. We're gonna pass here math.co to remove a decimal values. Okay, total divided by limit, and then we're gonna get data. Okay, I'm gonna format this. Okay, that's cool. We just finished. And then here we're going to pass a file to get courses. Okay, if we got here. Okay. Now let's run our migrations. We are going to pass here the name of the migrations. You can see enter name for the new migrations. And we're gonna pass here courses, courses and chapters. Yeah, this is what we've done. Yeah, I'm passing here chapters, and then I'm tap enter. And once done, we're gonna generate the migrations. Okay, and now what we are going to do, we're going to head into inside of our app here, and I'm passing localhost, and then we're going to move to dashboard. We're gonna start working on the courses page. Okay, because we already finished with the categories. Okay, now we're gonna pass the admin /dashboard, and then we're gonna land on the page. Okay, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna move to courses. Okay. For the categories, we already finished here. Yeah, for the categories, we already finished. Now we're going to move to courses. And in here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to head into the pages folder. Let's check here. Okay, already generating or already creating our migrations. You can see courses and chapters. And yeah, you can see we got them in here. Okay, that's cool. Now we are going to head into the pages folder. Yeah, we have here the pages folder. You can see we have pages, admin, courses. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy everything in here. Copy everything, and then I'm paste it into the courses. Okay, and in here I'm gonna comment everything in here, and we are going to create also the category, the courses table. You can see we have a category table. We are going to head into the component folder, and in here I'm passing courses, and we're gonna have in the course table, the view. We're gonna have in the category. We're gonna pass here the course model, the view. Okay, course model. We don't need. Yeah, we need to pass here course model, and we're going to copy content inside the category table. I'm copy everything in here and pass it into the course table. Okay, and in here we're gonna have here an array of courses, pass the courses, and we're gonna pass here edit course. Okay, and we're gonna have here the title of the course and pass it the title, and we can have here something like, let me check in here. Yeah, and pass Prisma schema. Okay, Prisma schema. Okay, Prisma schema. We're gonna pass there the title. We can pass there the category, and we can pass to the price. Okay, but also, yeah, we can pass in the title, and can pass to the we can pass the title and the category. Okay, we're gonna pass here to column, and here I'm gonna go back inside the course table. We're gonna pass here the title, category, okay, and we're gonna pass it to here the price. I'm gonna remove the price. We're gonna stay with title and category. Okay, and now what I'm going to do in here, guys, we are going to create also another column here. Here we're gonna pass here course, and we're gonna pass here courses because it's gonna be an array, and I'm pass here this. We're gonna pass here course.id, and we're gonna pass the course.title, but also the course.category. Okay, here we're gonna pass here category.name here. Yeah, we're gonna pass here course.title, and here we're gonna pass here course.category. Okay, For the category here, guys, we are going to pass here course like this, the category that name like this. Now we are going to do something like this, guys. You can see actually we haven't already created a course, you can see. And in here, if we get into these endpoints, you can see in these endpoints into the gate courses.ts, you can see in here we are going to get an array of courses, okay, but we don't have here the category, okay. The array is gonna look like this. We're gonna have here this, we can have here an object, we're gonna have here the ID, and we're gonna have here the title, pass the title, and here we are going to pass here something like the category, and then we need to pass here the category name, the ID of the category, but also we need the name so that we are going to display that. And now in order to include the category, we're going to pass the include property, and we are going to pass here category, which is the name of the model, and then we're going to pass it through like this. And yeah, we're going to get something like this when we're going to hit that endpoint, okay. We're going to get here courses column, and we're going to have here the category, and we're going to go back into the course table and pass course table, and we're going to continue to pass the category name, okay, and we're going to pass here the action button for see, we're going to pass here an action button to see details of a single course, okay. And in here we're going to pass here see course details for the event here, and that's what I'm going to pass here, okay. We're gonna pass in here, yeah, we can say edit course, we can let it like this, edit course, okay. And once we're gonna click that, we are going to move to the page here. You can see this is the structure. Once we are going to click on the edit button, we are going to move on the page here in order to edit a course and to add chapters for a given course, okay. And here we are going to pass here the course like this, and I'm gonna copy that, and we're gonna pass here edit course, okay. We're not going to change that, okay. Now we're going to copy content into the category model. We're gonna put it into the course model, okay. We're gonna pass that in here, and I'm going to pass here some inputs, and we're going to pass here, let me check here for the inputs. I'm gonna go back in here again, and we're gonna pass here, let's head into in here, we're gonna pass the title, the category, okay, and the user ID, okay. Now course model, okay, we're gonna pass here the two inputs. Let me define here, I'm going to comment everything in here, and you can see actually we haven't already created a spinner so for the courses, and I'm going to create it because we need to interact with a pinner store to get access to some properties. And here we are going to scroll down. We have here the stores folder, and we have a category, okay, category store in here, and I'm gonna copy again everything in here, and we're gonna pass it in here, and yeah, I'm gonna rename that to courses, okay. And we're gonna pass it in here. We can pass here course store like this, okay. We can pass here course instead of courses course, okay. And here I'm passing course store .ts, okay, .ts, okay. And we're gonna pass it in here, okay. And now what I'm going to do, we are going to, first of all, we need to pass here the name of the pinner store, which is the use course store, and I'm passing here course store, and we are going to define here the input, which is the course input, and we're gonna send here the ID and the name. For the name, we're gonna pass here the title, and we're gonna pass the category ID, and here I'm passing now, and also we're gonna send the user ID and pass here now too, okay. And the user ID is the teacher, okay. Someone created the course, is the admin, and we're gonna pass the edit false here. We're gonna remove that right now. Save loading, fetch loading, and we have here save data, and here we are going to have here the model, and we're going to pass here for the model. Right now I'm going to comment these two lines here, and we are going to use the function in order to show the model, the course model. Create updates, we're going to stay with that. And in order to create a course, we are going to, I'm going to pass this here. Okay, right now I'm going to copy that, and then we are going to pass it in here. Okay, and I'm going to remove this line. Okay, and we're going to head into the save folder. We have here courses. We're going to pass here courses, and here we're going to pass here create, and we're going to pass here course input, that value, and I'm going to copy that. We're going to initialize it once we just created a course, and here we're going to pass here fetch, and pass it fetch courses. Okay, fetch courses. Okay, we are going to define it, the function here, and we're going to stay with the success function. I'm going to remove edit, and we have here the save loading. When we make an HTTP request to this, when we finish processing this request, we're going to modify the value of the loading, the save loading property. Okay, and in here we are going to fetch, here courses. We're going to pass here courses, okay, like this. Okay, and we're going to get data. We're going to pass the server data, and fetch loading. We are going to modify the state here, and then we're going to pass this property here. I'm going to pass a course input like this. Fetch courses. We're going to pass a fetch courses, and here we're going to remove that here. Okay, and we are going to pass here the use course to the auth module replacement function, so that if we modify something into the course tool, we are going to see the modification immediately inside the browser. Okay, pass that here. Okay, that's cool. And now we're gonna go back into the course model. We're gonna tap like something like this. Yeah, we're in the course model, and in here we're gonna import the use course tool, and we pass here store to ref to preserve reactivity. We extract the course inputs, and I'm gonna also import the course store here, the category store in here, and we're gonna use the saver data and pass saver data. We are going to pass the data to the select tag. And for the validation here, we're going to validate the title and also the category ID. I'm going to copy that. We're going to pass here the category ID. Okay. And we're going to need in here the user ID, and pass the user ID is equal to required. Like this, we're going to pass it to the user ID. Yeah. Okay. You can see in order to create a course here, we need to pass here the title, category ID, and user ID. But for the Slack, we're going to use the title to generate it. Okay, and here we are going to go back in here inside the course model. Okay, and here we're going to run the validation. We're going to pass here the course input, and then we are going to uncomment in here the submit input. Okay, and we're going to pass here course store that create updates. Now in here we're going to pass here create course. Okay, create course, and here I'm going to duplicate that input here and pass here the title, and here we're going to pass here the course input that title. Okay, and here we're going to pass here, yeah, we're going to pass it title like this, and I'm going to copy that, and then I'm passing here. And here we're going to pass here the select tag. Okay, we're going to pass it the select tag here. I'm going to remove the line here. Okay, and in here, guys, we're gonna pass the select tag an array of categories. Okay, and I'm going to do this. We're gonna pass here an option tag, and we're gonna pass here another one. We're gonna pass a v4, okay, and then pass a category in saver data that categories, okay, and in here we're gonna pass the key and then pass a category that ID like this, and we're going to pass here the category that's name, okay, and we're gonna pass here select category, okay, and here for the value, we're gonna pass here v model, okay, and here I'm passing here we're gonna pass the course inputs that category ID, and then we're gonna pass it a Tailwind CSS class for styling the select input. Okay, yeah, we are going to continue, and inside the footer we're gonna pass here the function. We are going to pass here the course store. We are not going to pass here the category store. We're gonna pass here the course store, okay, and we are going to add the function, and then we're going to call the function tag model, and we are going to pass it here. Yeah, we pass it the submit function, and we have here the edit property. Right now we are not going to use the edit property into the course store, and in here I'm not just pass here create. Okay, we're gonna pass here create, and we have here the safe loading. We're gonna extract it here. Okay, I'm not extract it in here, okay, like this. And now what we are going to do, we are going to import the course model into the courses page, and in here we are going to pass here the code and pass the course model, okay. And yeah, let me go back first here, course model, okay. And yeah, we forgot to extract the show model property. We should extract it in here. Okay, and let's go back into the courses page, and we pass here the course model into the client only component. We need to render the course model. We are going to render the course model only on the client, and we're gonna pass here courses. Okay, yeah, like this. And in here we're gonna pass here the course table, and I'm pass here. Yeah, right now I'm gonna remove the function. And we're gonna pass here courses, and we're gonna pass it save data. We're gonna extract it from the course store, okay. And I'm going to copy these two store right here, and I'm pass it in here, okay. And yeah, we're gonna pass that here, okay. And yeah, I'm gonna remove that. We're gonna pass here the course store and the category store, and in here we're gonna call the category store. We're gonna call it. And here, let me remove that line here. Once we call that the category, once we call the fetch categories, we are going to pass data to the save data. You can see into the course model, we pass here the save data. We are going to pass that the save data, and then we are going to pass the data to the select tag in here. And now we are going to call another function, which is the fetch courses, and pass here a weight, and we're gonna pass here another function. Yeah, we're going to pass here course store, and we're gonna pass here that fetch courses. Yeah, like this. And then we just finish in here, guys. And then we're gonna check here. We can see course table. Now I'm gonna comment this line, okay. And now we're gonna pass here only the course data here, and pass here. You can see inside of the courses, the course store, we have the save data in here. I'm gonna extract it, and I'm going to pass it. First of all, we're gonna try to create a course, and once we see that we have data into the save data reactive property, we're gonna pass it to the course table, okay. And now let's head into the courses page. We got an error. You can see courses. We have here an error. We're gonna fix that, and let me check in here. Yeah, we don't have here an error. Okay, I'm gonna remove that line here, and let's check again in here. Yeah, you can see actually we got here an object. We have courses. The courses here is an array, and this is the array that we're gonna pass to the course table. We're gonna pass here save data that courses, okay, courses, okay, like this. And here we have here title, category, action, okay. And we have here the button. Now let's check here for the button, and we pass here course store, okay. And now let's check. We are going to see what we're gonna get. I'm click here create. Yeah, you can see we pop up the course model, and we have here the title, but also we should pass here the category, okay. And I'm going to go back in here. I'm gonna add a space between these two inputs, okay. And here I'm gonna pass here a class of margin bottom, pass it to, okay. Let's see. Okay, and here I'm gonna pass here another attribute. So you can see select category and pass selected is equal to true. Okay, like this. And here I'm gonna pass here to the course input because we need to inspect, we need to see which kind of data we pass to the course input. Okay, yeah, you can see the ID is now title, nothing, category ID, nothing, user, and the user ID is now. Okay, and here I'm select the category. You can see we should pass here the category properly, we should pass data. And as we don't pass the category the category ID properly data, we are going to pass here the value. You can see pass here the key, and pass here vbounds, and pass here category.id like this. And then we're going to try to check again. If I select here, you can see actually pass here the category ID. It works. And now if I pass it the title, you can see we pass the title. Now for the user ID, we are going to do this. I'm going to do something like this. You can see we are going to get into the check of the view file. Okay, I'm going to get into inside the middleware. I'm passing off. Yeah, we're going to get into the off.glob.ts. And inside of here, you can see we have here the user composable. This composable is provided by Clerk. Okay, and we're gonna use that in order to get access to the user ID, and we're going to put that into the core store. And once we open the model, we're gonna pass the user ID properly. We're gonna pass data. Okay, and I'm going to pass it in here, and we are going to pass here the user ID. Okay, I'm pass that here. And we are going to do something like this: course input that value that user ID, and then we're gonna pass the user.id. Okay, and I'm going to assert it as a string. Okay, user ID, and you can see we got a typing error. Let me check here. Yeah, you can see the actual value is now, and then I'm passing user ID that ID, and I can just pass here an empty string. Okay, because this is a UUID is a string. Okay, and yeah, I'm passing here that value and pass that value. Okay, something like this. And here we got an error, and I'm going to assert it as a string. Okay, yeah, user ID. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it to parentheses. Okay, yeah, let's say is string like this. And yeah, we still have here a typing error. Left hand side of the assignment expression may not be an option properly accessed. Okay, and yeah, let me check here. We are going to do this. Yeah, we're gonna remove that option chaining, and then we're gonna pass data. Okay, and now let's try it again. I'm gonna close that, and I'm gonna click here create, and you can see actually pass here the category ID. We pass it here, but also we pass here the user ID. Yeah, it's right here. And now we are going to pass here the title, and then we're gonna try to save here. Okay, and now I'm going to head into the network tab. We are going to inspect the request. Okay, and in here I'm gonna click here how to manage states in view app. Okay, and then we're gonna click here create. We're gonna try to see we're gonna get create. Okay, we're creating the course, and you can see create right here. Okay, course created successfully, and you can see course created successfully. Just created a course, guys, and it works pretty well. And now you can see we just provided the table data, how to manage states in view app, and we pass here data. Okay, got here data. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back into the course model, and in here we are going to now we're going to remove the course input in here, and yeah, I'm going to remove that. And also we're going to get into the course page. We are going to remove the server data in here. Okay,